Boar's Head is bringing a slice of Japan to the deli. Introducing Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. Tender, slow-roasted chicken breast, coated in our signature teriyaki glaze, where ginger, garlic, and a hint of brown sugar meet for a flavor that's both sweet and savory. New Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. The bold flavor of Japan. Now at the deli. Only from Boar's Head. Compromise elsewhere.
Blog Talk Radio.
Here we go. Blast off.
This is True Capitalist Radio. True Capitalist Radio.
I am your host, the man they call Ghost.
The badass of business.
Give him capitalism or give him death.
That's it. Period.
Broadcasting from his Skyline office studios in beautiful downtown Austin, Texas.
You sound fruitier than a box of Fruit Loops, for Christ's sake.
And now, he'll take it from here. Your host, the prognosticator of prognosticators, the man they call Ghost.
Tuning in with me for another edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. This is episode number 43 for all the folks that are keeping track with me. And it is spring break, folks, the first Monday of spring break. I know there's a lot of college kids who listen to me that are, if they're off, they're either here listening to me now or they're out at some kind of beach establishment getting sloppy drunk. Trying to buy $10 Mai Tais for some Miss Annie Mae Rottencrotch or something of that nature. But either way, I want to thank everybody who's tuning in live with me. If you could please retweet the broadcast, folks. If you could please retweet the broadcast at blogtalkradio.com/ghost. Let everybody know that we're live and we're in effect right at this point in time and send them to that link. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me here. It's been a great time out here in Austin. If you happen to not know what's taking part out here in Austin, Texas, we've got South by Southwest, and you can't find a damn hotel room to save your ass out here. There's so many people out here, swarms of people, people of big names, people of small names. You got a whole hodgepodge of different forms of creativity trying to promote themselves out here. You can't go to a damn bar without, having some serious crowdage issues, to say the least. So hopefully everybody out there is taking advantage of spring break. It looks like they are. I'm starting to think maybe I should have started to take advantage of spring break, for Christ's sake. You know what I'm talking about? But anyway, the markets still go on. We had a lot of things to talk about. I mean, once again, we want to talk about the Japanese earthquake / tsunami that just devastated that country. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We're also going to talk about how the equities slid today on international uncertainty. Gold today gained a little bit. Believe it or not, oil began with some considerable losses. It actually went down below $100 a barrel today, but closes up on the plus side. We want to talk about Japan and their pending nuclear meltdown that everyone at this point in time is trying to prevent out there in that country. It looks to me like the devastation that encompassed that country also affected certain nuclear plants that supply the country energy, and as a result, we could have a potential, just a unbelievable radioactive disaster if these certain. If these certain, I mean, it's complicated to explain. There's got to be rods. They got to be flushed out. It's a whole complicated measure. But I just don't want to say anything because these people have taken so much already. I mean, they're pulling bodies out by the thousands. Whole towns are just devastated. It's horrible. But we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about AT&T. Believe it or not, if you have AT&T DSL or if you have any kind of AT&T internet product, in May, this coming May, they are going to throw a cap on how much bandwidth you can download and upload. They basically said that 150 gigabytes of information is the cap. Anything over that, I don't know. It's still generally being discussed. So we're going to talk about that. I don't know how you feel about your internet searching, your internet experience being capped by AT&T. We're going to talk about that also. Folks, also Iran announced today that they have a cyber army. And I'm not talking about the uprising, the true revolutionaries out there in Iran that have been slaughtered by the government. I'm talking about the Ayatollah. I'm talking about the government themselves. They actually announced today that they have a cyber army. A cyber army, and it's going to start unleashing attacks at all its quote-unquote enemies. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to talk about how Twitter is ordered by the government to give user information in the WikiLeaks probe, which has serious implications for anyone who's happened to use Twitter as a means of amplifying certain tweets or links or ideas. I think this is a very disturbing precedent being set here. Twitter ordered by the government, or actually by the court system, but ordered to give the government user information based on this WikiLeaks probe. And not only that, we're going to get into a little bit of stuff like why President Obama won't vocally come out for the public unions. I mean, do you remember when Barack Obama ran for president? I mean, he ran on this, the unions came out for me, baby. The unions came out for me. I'm coming out for them, baby. Well, how come Barack Obama, given the fact that we have all this public union unrest all over the country, why Obama won't come out for the individuals that basically got him elected? You know, the people that organized and made this mob rule type of campaign strategy. Why Barack Obama at this point in time, our president, isn't coming out and vocally in their support? You know, and if you folks aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, this Wisconsin situation that we're having with teachers basically protesting because they are going to have their collective bargaining rights stripped from them, and they have to basically curb all these perks that they got used to because they exploited the taxpayer. You've got these people protesting now. They're taking over the Capitol building, believe it or not. They're actually sleeping there. It's just utterly disgusting. And what makes me sick is that these people feel that they're entitled to continue to exploit tax dollars. I actually wrote a blog about this, folks, ghostpolitics.blogspot.com. And in that blog, or in one of those blogs when I discuss these teachers, there's a couple of blogs where I discuss them, but one of them I actually link up a New York Times statistic, or a New York Times quoted statistic where it proves that public workers make more than those in the private sector. Now, why is that a discrepancy? Why should that be a discrepancy? Well, it shouldn't be a discrepancy, but you see, folks, what's really unfortunate is that now you're having these union workers starting to pit themselves against those of us that are in the private sector. They're trying to separate themselves from those of us that are actually going out and being hired based upon our merits and our work ethic. They're looking down upon us as if we're the stupid ones out here. And if you don't believe me, I know I announced this last week, folks, but I'm going to announce it again. Yours truly and his recent blog post that I posted up about the true motivation of teachers' unions. It was top news on Newsvine. Here's the link to it right there. It's no longer not top news. It's got almost 500 comments to it. And let me tell you, you'd be surprised at reading the comments at how many pro-union supporters are sitting here trying to justify this unbelievable discrepancy in pay in today's America, and how they feel that they are somehow more patriotic than all other American people because, I don't know, they're standing up for themselves by holding the bureaucratic system hostage. I don't know. But either way, I would strongly advise people to check that out, folks, but not to get off topic, I'm going to give my thoughts about the chaos being caused by the U.S. public unions across the United States. I mean, this is a serious matter that's being, influenced throughout the country. This is not just some limited little skirmish that's happening in Madison, Wisconsin. I mean, states, folks, states and municipalities are being strapped for cash. They don't have the money to continue these bureaucratic structures that are meaningless. And what's really sad is the reason that they were able to grow so big and so gigantic is because they just implemented this kind of a tax, and then that kind of a tax, and then that kind of a tax. And soon enough, they started collecting all these taxes that they believe that, hey, they can just continue to charge taxes and continue to create bureaucracy and create these, fake jobs for everybody that are just nothing more than paper-pushing nonsense. They've done this to the point where they just can't do it anymore. And now, not only do they have to, cut spending, but now they actually have to go out and they actually have to tell these people that, hey, you cannot continue to exploit the taxpayer, all right? You can't continue to do this. And this is at the state level, folks. This is not the federal level, all right? The states are bankrupt, all right? Wisconsin is, insolvent. Illinois, California, I mean, I can go on and on about these states. These states are insolvent, and unless they, clean their books and start, taking off bureaucracy, start doing something more productive and efficient, they're going to default on their debt. And what does that mean, folks? Well, that means that anybody who invests in any kind of municipal bonds or anybody who invested in any kind of state bonds in any of these states or municipalities that are in jeopardy of defaulting, if they cannot convince these bureaucrats that, hey, look, we have to do it, we got to cut funding, it's just something we have to do. If they can't convince them, then they're going to default on the debt. That means everybody that's invested in these bonds are going to lose their money. And what does that mean? That means 401ks, retirement plans. I mean, there's so many things that are vested in the bond market, believe it or not. And bonds were supposed to be a security play for bears in financial instruments. But at this point in time, because the governments of our United States of America, the state governments and municipal governments have spent so much cash, they cannot continue to pay for these people. And you see, the thing is that the public workers don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They don't care. They want to continue getting paid, and they actually believe that they're more patriotic than every other American out here because they were smart enough to join a union and stand up for their rights. I kid you not, folks. Go to the blog, ghostpolitics.blogspot.com, and you'll see it all for yourself. It's just a disgusting disgrace. Anyway, another thing I want to talk about, closing out the program, is to extend my hand out to all true capitalists out there to start realizing that we, all of us, have to start spreading the message. We have to start spreading the message that capitalism is the only form of social order that not only appeases every appetite of ambitious man or woman on this planet, but it's also the fundamental principle for human progress. And governments, as we know it, their only authority should be over the rule of law, providing civility for society, and to implement, the protection of property. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that's what governments are there for. Yeah, of course, we've gotten used to them for basic, basic services and all this other nonsense. But let's be honest. Anything that government touches, it turns into crap. It turns into absolute crap. So, ending the broadcast, I would like folks that are listening in to spread the message. Spread the message about the true capitalist movement. All right, and the true capitalist idea. You know, the idea of embracing the fact that we're not going to just sit here and just allow a bunch of, moochin'-ass, non-contributing pieces of, lazy crap dictate how society goes. We're the capitalists. You understand that? We're the ones that pay the taxes. And we're the ones that should have the authority to dictate where society goes and what investments it takes. Not some bureaucrats, not some moochers of society, none of this stuff. None of them. So you're goddamn right. It makes me sick to my stomach to sit over here and see these goddamn unions. You know, in a day and age when everybody in the private sector in 2008, 2009, I remember this, all right? In 2008 and 2009, everybody was suffering. Do you remember that? Everybody. I mean, you had people being foreclosed on. You had, debts that were, everybody had to deal with the economic contraction of 2008, 2009. But not the bureaucrats. Oh, no, not the bureaucrats. Remember, because of this whole idea of unionization of government jobs, they were able to collectively just say, hey, you're either going to pay us this or we're going to go and strike. And then we're going to cause the whole government infrastructure to stand still, and then you're just going to have to pay us. I mean, folks, that's extortion. You know, I mean, that's what the mafia used to do to people that worked in their neighborhood. I mean, I don't know if you know how the mafia worked. You know, there's a lot of people that think that the mafia was just, some drug dealers or something. That's not what they were. No, you know where they made their money was through extortion. Yeah, the mob, if they controlled a certain block, if they controlled a certain area of some neighborhood, they would go to each and every business, each and every thief, everybody that made any kind of capital gain, any kind of, anything. They would go to them and force them to pay a certain percentage of their income so that they can have, quote-unquote, protection. I mean, do you understand what I'm saying? Protection. Now, what the hell does that mean? That means, you're not going to have trouble conducting your business. And that's no different than what these unions are doing. These unions are nothing, they're just like mafias. It's a disgrace, for Christ's sake, and I just think it's wrong. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm sorry for going off on that tirade, folks. I've spent some time on that. I just want to review the markets. We have a lot of uncertainty because of course, we continue to see destabilization in the Middle East. And news today, Saudi Arabia was able to quash their little day of rage on Friday. Now they are sending forces into Bahrain. Bahrain is a little country that's just around the border of Saudi Arabia. It's a very small country. But if Bahrain gets taken over by domestic unrest, it can jeopardize the oil resources of Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia has taken the initiative by sending in their own troops into Bahrain today. They sent in Saudi Arabian troops to go in there and try to quash the domestic unrest that's happening in Bahrain, and now that has infuriated everybody. That's infuriated all kinds of opposition, not just in Bahrain, but throughout the Middle East. You've got these people in Bahrain talking about how the Saudis are occupying their country. There's a lot of bad blood, a lot of bad words going around out there, so... And then you got the Japan situation with the tsunamis and the earthquake, and now you've got a potential nuclear disaster pending out there because of the uncertainty of what's happening with these nuclear plants. And as a matter of fact, if you look at any stocks that actually deal in nuclear energy, they took a beating today. Because of all this. You take into consideration there's a lot more destabilization, not just in the Middle East, but throughout the globe. We've got Pakistan and Iran still at the verge of going to war, but Pakistan, believe it or not, is at the verge of going to civil war. And this is a nuclear country. All right, so we've got that. We've got also the situations in Afghanistan, Iraq. We've got the Middle Eastern. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, there's just so much uncertainty. Investors don't really know where to go. You know, they don't know where to go. So right now, you've got a helter-skelter market here. We had a tremendous sell-off. I mean, it went down 100 points today, the Dow Jones Industrials. But luckily, we had a late-day buyback. And today, the Dow Jones Industrials closed under 12,000, but still salvageable. 11,993.20 is where the Dow Jones Industrial closed out at. A negative 51.24 points. All right, negative 51.24 points. We also had S&P drops. S&P closed out today at 1,296.39, a decrease of 7.89 points. NASDAQ closed out at 2,700.97, a decrease of 14.64 points. So everybody that was in the equities markets, it definitely was not the best day for you unless you knew where to make certain plays. If you were following me on my Twitter account, folks, I'm up every morning. I trade futures, okay? I mean, I don't want to explain what that means or what I do in options and futures because it's a complicated financial instrument. And I think that if anybody should learn anything first, they should learn how to trade equities. They should learn how to trade ETFs. They should learn how to trade these simple financial instruments. Then they can get to more complicated financial instruments so you can more diversify your portfolio. But if you would have been following me on my Twitter account, Ghost Politics is the name to follow, folks. All one word, no underscores, Ghost Politics. I said today, early this morning, before the market even opened up, that the futures were trading down, and it looked like it was going to be, a kind of a flat day or on the minus day on the market today, and that metals looked like they were doing fairly well, and that's exactly what happened, folks. Let's take a look at commodities, shall we? And we're going to take a look at commodities right now. Now, let's talk about oil. Now, oil slipped up. The Brent crude slipped up today. It was down 6 cents, a change of 0.05%, closing out at 113.78 cents a barrel. Gas futures were up tremendously, $10.50. Heating oil was up $3.40. There was a lot of reasons why gas futures and heating oil was up. First of all, gas futures were up because of the fact we had this horrible disaster in Japan. Heating futures were up because of the same reason. So demand is going to be up in those two particular commodities. Now, when it comes to crude oil is not going to be as in demand any longer because Japan was the third largest economy in the world. Now, being the third largest economy, they were the third largest consumer of oil. At this point in time, they are going to, for the short term, remember that, for the short term, are going to pull back on their usual crude imports. You know, the amount of crude that they import into their country, there's going to be a pullback. And short term, that pullback is going to cause a increase of barrels of oil fluctuating in the oil market, which in turn is bringing down the cost of oil. But even though we were down up to about $99, $98 today, I mean, it looked like, we were going to see a reduce in crude to the point where it was just going to come down. I mean, I trade all day, folks. That's just what I do. I just trade all day, man. I mean, but if you had been following the markets today, you would have seen that you would have had oil in, I would say about 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I mean, down $2 and change. Now, what made that come back up on the plus side? It closed out today plus 56 cents. All right? I mean, it's $101.72 a barrel of sweet crude oil. Yeah. $101.72 for sweet crude oil, WTI, which is the oil that's consumed by North America out here. The reason there was an increase, folks, is because the Saudi Arabians going into Bahrain to quash the domestic unrest that's happening in that country has infuriated the already infuriated Middle East. I mean, these people are a bunch of pissed-off teachers here. Or pissed-off teachers, sorry. I'm sorry. They're a bunch of pissed-off people out there, okay? And by them looking at Saudi Arabia going into Bahrain to quash domestic unrest, on top of seeing a lack of international intervention by anyone, because Muammar Gaddafi is bombing his own people in Libya, you're starting to see more and more calls for unrest. I'm serious. So as the day went by, even though the day started off minus $2 and change in crude oil, it finished out plus 56 cents because there's still uncertainty in the oil markets, folks. There's still uncertainty, for Christ's sake. I mean, I don't see this crap going away, man. I don't see it going away. I understand that, hey, look, Japan had a horrific devastation and the earthquakes, tsunamis. I mean, there's a lot of things that Japan's dealing with, and I understand where the investors are making the assumption that there's going to be more oil on the open market. It's not a supply problem. We're going to have more oil on the open market because Japan is not going to be, for the short term, once again, for the short term, is not going to be consuming as much oil imports as possible because they have to rebuild. They have to, search and rescue. They have to clean debris. They have to do a lot of things. And for the short term, crude oil is not going to be as in demand because the third largest economy is not going to be buying as much oil as it usually does. This is what, in the beginning of the day, if you would have been trading oil futures, this is what caused the oil futures to go down $2 and change. What's making it go back up, folks? Destabilization in the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? Destabilization in the Middle East. And keep your eye on Saudi Arabia, Bahrain. Keep your eye on Libya. I mean, Libya has already bombed the hell out of their own oil ports. So right off the bat, I mean, that's just pretty much off the map for at least a year. It damaged in the Japan tsunamis, damaged in the Japan earthquakes were the gas refineries. The gas refineries that refines crude oil into gasoline were destroyed. Not to mention that a lot of Japanese companies have suspended production. Talking about Japanese companies like Toyota, Nissan, or these electronic companies, that sort of thing. So it's affecting the markets tremendously. The Nikkei, which is the stock exchange for Japan, dropped 6% today, which was horrible. I mean, the whole market dropped 6%. So we got a lot of uncertainty out here, folks, and that's why you have this helter-skelter market. That's why gold was popping today early this morning. All of a sudden, it kind of just calmed back down. Still closed out on the plus side, but then sweet crude comes back from $2 and change down to be closing out at 56 cents upward. I mean, it's unbelievable. Anyway, let me move on to the other. Agricultural commodities. Canola futures are down $3.10. Cocoa futures, we're continuing to see sell-offs on those. Obviously, the curb in demand because of the high prices of chocolate is obviously affecting this. So it's down, $23 today. Coffee, we've seen extreme gains on coffee as the weeks have gone by. It's finally going down, whether it's demand, whether it's speculation, I don't know. It's down $1.10 today. Corn futures, they've seen dramatic decreases about time, for Christ's sake. I mean, I'm sick and tired of paying $1 an ear of corn. I'm sick of it, all right? I'm sick. But it gained today because of the potential of the United States supplying Japan with corn, with other types of commodities, corn being one of them. The sell-offs that we've seen on corn, which has been substantial, there was a somewhat gain today, $1.75 gain today in the corn futures. Cotton futures, I'm glad we're starting to see sell-offs on cotton. I mean, it was starting to get a little ridiculous. It made you believe that Rumpelstiltskin was making your freaking clothes or some crap as high as cotton was going. Anyway, there's still decreases on it, still sell-offs. It's down $7 a day, a decrease of 3.42% on the negative side. Wheat futures, we're seeing a buyback on wheat, like I said, because Japan, the earthquake, the United States may supply Japan with certain commodities that were destroyed in these earthquakes and tsunamis, so that's why we're seeing an increase on wheat futures, up $2.50. Sugar down $1.07. Soybean futures up $5.50. Lumber futures continuing their downslide because of the uncertainty of, if there's going to be even new homes being sought after, if people are going to tighten up on their budgets, who knows? It's down $3.30. Oat futures are down after gradual increases because of the Arctic events that damaged certain crops a couple of months ago. They're starting to decrease at $6.50. Soybean oil futures down 52 cents, and wool futures, after gradual gains for the past couple of days, we're starting to see them level out and fall flat today. Copper futures, folks, let's go to the metals. Because, like I said, there was going to be high volatility in metals. There was going to be some plays to be made in metals, and there were. All right, I mean, copper futures were up $1.25, an increase of 0.30%. Gold futures today closed out at a price of $1,428 a troy ounce, an increase of $6.20, a change of 0.44%. Silver was the only metal on the negative side, but if you look at the day's chart on that, there was a lot of volatility. You could have made some plays there. It closed out today at $35.91, minus 2 cents. So, like I said, I mean, I wouldn't really call that loss. I would just call it falling flat. Let's go to the livestock futures, folks. Live cattle futures down 30 cents. Live cattle feeder futures down 77 cents. And lean hog futures, there must be a drop in eating some pig and a decent ham bone because they were down considerable, down $1.95, a change of 1.96%, for Christ's sake. So, I mean, they're, once again, a helter-skelter market. Don't know where things are going, but you can tell that investors are starting to seek the security plays. So that's the markets for your ass, folks. This is the spring break edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. Of course, I'm your host, the man they call Ghost. I want to hear from you. 646-652-4869 is the number to call here. Not to mention, folks, if you're listening to the broadcast, please retweet the broadcast or put it on your social networks. Or send it on an email, SMS, spread it around like wildfire so that people can take advantage and kick back with us here in the live broadcast, the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. They can sit here, chill with us live, chat with us, the whole 9 yards. Send them to blogtalkradio.com/ghost. All right, blogtalkradio.com/ghost. Spread it around like wildfire, folks. All right, we're here for 3 hours, for Christ's sake. You understand? I mean, this should be my spring break. You understand? Let me get up just for a second. Let me get up. Let me look out the window because I actually have a view of 6th Street from my office here. And as I look down at all the people that are out there walking around, I think to myself, man, I could be down there right now, probably meeting some famous people that are just chilling at these bars. You know, I met a lot of famous people, as a matter of fact, folks. I mean, I'm out here at these nice libation establishments that I like to patronize out here in my city. And because we have South by Southwest here in Austin, Texas, there's a lot of folks walking around out here. Conan O'Brien's out here. We got a lot of people. You know, a lot of people out here in South by Southwest. So the reason I'm bringing that up, folks, is because I'm still here. All right, I'm still here for the peeps that appreciate the True Capitalist radio broadcast. You know, I'm doing this for you, and even though it should be a spring break time for yours truly, since everybody else is kicking back with a freaking spring break, I'm going to kick back here. I'm going to continue to broadcast, and I want to hear from you, all right? I want to hear from you. Not to mention, before we take calls, if you could please retweet the broadcast, seriously, all right? Spread it around like wildfire and let everybody know. Let everybody know to be here and to be in the live chat and to call up to the live broadcast, folks, because this is serious business. Anyway, 646-652-4869 is the number to call here. We were talking a little bit about, how oil gained a little bit because of the uncertainty in the Middle East. Gold gains because of the uncertainty in the markets. We see equities closing on the negative because, well, once again, the uncertainty in the international community. Now, what I would like to talk about a little bit is AT&T. AT&T is planning on setting a limit or setting a cap on how much one can download when using the DSL service. I kid you not, this is going to be implemented in May, so if you happen to have DSL with AT&T, you are going to have a 150 gigabyte cap on what you can download every single month. 150 gigabyte cap, and you have to think that, 150 gigabyte, I think that should still be good, right? I mean, are you kidding me? In this day and age when we're downloading videos and audio and broadcasts and all this other nonsense, you think that 150 gigabytes is enough? I don't think it's enough. I think it's ridiculous. And you know what AT&T's trying to claim? AT&T's trying to claim that they have infrastructure problems and they can't meet up with the bandwidth demands. Are you kidding me? I'm not stupid, AT&T. All right? I was around when you bought all these internet companies and all these cable companies and all these telephone companies so that you could have the infrastructure to deliver this type of a service. So, and let me tell you, they have the infrastructure to deliver unlimited bandwidth. They just don't want to do it. They just want to continue to juice the system that they've created here. And let me tell you, I wrote about this. I wrote about this a long time ago that, let me tell you, what's really going to halt the Internet's progress is the monopolization of the connection to it. And if there's any kind of corporation that monopolizes broadband internet connections, this is going to jeopardize internet freedom. This is going to jeopardize internet opportunity, and that's why I bring this story up, because I think it's sick that AT&T is going to sit here this coming May and start charging their customers if they go over 150 gigabytes in download bandwidth. I kid you not. Anyway, 646-652-4869 is the number to call. I want to hear from you. Let's see what people have to say. 111, you're on the air.
Yes, hi, Coach. I work at Walmart. I like this thing.
Yeah, shut up. You sound like a moron. 646-652-4869 is the number to call. Remember, this is the True Capitalist radio broadcast. You're going to hear, prank callers calling up and, trying to implement some kind of lame-ass prank call and attempt to try to get some lulls. And you can tell by the lack of personality and the lack of a punchline, it ain't going to work. So what I want to know is I want to hear from you. Are you an AT&T user? I mean, are you happy that AT&T is going to put a cap on how much you can download each month? I mean, is this insane? Is this freaking insane, for Christ's sake? I mean, who in the hell does AT&T think they are? I mean, it's bad enough that you can bundle all your media into one bill with these assholes. You can get your cable. You can get your landline. You can get your internet. And now they're sitting here wanting to put a cap on bandwidth? I mean, are you kidding me? Claiming infrastructure? They have enough infrastructure, all right? This company throughout the 90s continuously bought cable companies, phone companies, internet companies, they built the fiber optic networks. I mean, I'm telling you, folks, this is why, if you look back in a chart of AT&T, they were a pretty high stock up until about the late 90s, up until about maybe 97, 98. And that time, we had them just gobbling up everything they could. They just continuously bought out everything. This is what kind of drew their stock back to a certain degree. It was like $19, $18, $20 for a long period of time. All right? And now that they have monopolized certain areas, well, I wouldn't say monopolized, but almost monopolized certain areas of media, now they want to implement a cap on how much you can download as a DSL customer. I mean, it's just sick. All right? That's just sick. And let me tell you, it's their right to do so. They want to be, greedy bastards and go back to the old AOL days. Do you remember that? Oh, Jesus Christ. Remember like 1993 or something? You first got on AOL. You remember the old modem sound, 14 4K modem, when it first came out? All that crap. Remember when AOL used to charge by the hour? I mean, what a bunch of assholes back then. You know that? They used to charge by the hour, and they didn't even give you access to the internet. You were on their stupid online service, and you were, stricken to their little chat rooms and all this other crap. It was ridiculous. And this is what we're going back to, I mean, this is the kind of crap we're going to start going back to, because if the AT&Ts of the world, the people that own the broadband networks, if they start saying, hey, we're going to throw caps on broadband, well, then what's the future of media on the internet? What's the future of television shows and internet radio shows and things of that nature? What's the future of that? I mean, let me tell you something. A lot of these multimedia type deliveries to content seekers it's high bandwidth, I mean, it's high bandwidth, for Christ's sake. It's horrible. And I can't believe that people in the internet community are taking this. I don't know, 646-652-4869. I mean, what do you think about it? What do you think about what's going on here? I want to hear from you. Do you think AT&T is in the right? I mean, well, of course, it's their prerogative if they want to charge whatever they want to charge, but you notice that broadband and broadband companies are, few and far between. I mean, there's not an extensive list of people that you can call and get some decent competition, and AT&T knows that. So now they implement the infamous, you can only download 150 gigabytes a month. I want to hear from you. All right, 646-652-4869. Area code 302, you're on the air.
Hey, Ghost, it's the tech guy.
Hey, what's going on, tech guy?
Not much.
What do you think about this damn, 150 gigabyte a month download cap that AT&T is trying to implement over here?
Well, I probably use 100 gigabytes a month just on Skype, just using Skype. I was
just going to say, tech guy, I mean, I could imagine, I'm sure you talk on Skype, you listen to this broadcast, I'm sure you everybody goes on YouTube. Some people like, multi-gaming, internet gaming. I mean, these things are high graphic-based, high bandwidth-based, multimedia programs that require broadband connection. And for AT&T, being as big of a company that it is, to sit here and say that we have to start charging after 150 gigabytes of downloads a month, I mean, I think that's sick. And couldn't that curb everything that the internet has become, all the potential it's entailed, all the destruction of old monopolies of media? I mean, it's going to curb that, and it's going to bring the monopolies back to where they were before, like Hollywood. and the damn radio stations that we hear on the goddamn radio. I'm sick of the radio stations on the radio. I'm sick of these people that are trying to shove down our holes. And if these AT&Ts of the world are successful at implementing these types of caps, I think it jeopardizes our internet freedom, if you want my personal opinion. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I agree. A lot of nowadays, it's really hard to find a good show on television. Like for my age generation, I can't find a good show on television. I have to go on the internet to get some proper entertainment for myself, because that's the only place I can really get it. Television doesn't really give me anything anymore. A lot of people use Netflix so they can watch the movies they want to watch. Like right now, like I want to watch this comedian talk about stupid jokes now, and that's just a gigabyte and a half for an HD television right there. Like, and people can watch easily 100 movies a month just on Netflix alone.
Of course, and what does this do to certain businesses that are based upon broadband networking, like you just said, Netflix and that sort of thing? And I'm glad you made the comment, Tech Guy, that you can't find any kind of decent entertainment on television, and the reason is because you are limited to the amount of channels that television provides you. So they are the gatekeepers of entertainment. They are the gatekeepers of what you see. And what sucks is that they have lost that power. They have lost the gatekeeper of feeding you your television shows. They've lost the gatekeeper role of feeding you your music and your images and whatever you thought was entertaining or real or what. I mean, they've lost that power. They've lost it to the internet. And now, in my personal opinion, I think this AT&T move is just an incremental showing of how they're going to transition us back into utilizing these stupid old primitive methods of media, once again as our sole source of entertainment, news gathering, and content gathering. And I think that's just going to stagnate human progress. And let me tell you, the reason I'm saying that this is going to be a precedent set and we're going to see it continue throughout the industry is because AT&T is one of the biggest owners of, any network you can think of, cellular network, cable networks, internet, DSL, fiber optic networks, the whole 9 yards. And if they're going to sit here and claim that they don't have the infrastructure to meet the demand, then every company's going to claim that. And before you know it, we're all going to have to be paying what we're paying now, like 60. Well, it depends on how high your internet speed is, but anywhere from 40 to 60 a month in a broadband access. Some people get it even cheaper, but I get the premium stuff, and that's going to go up to even higher. It's even going to go to, who the hell knows? $150, $200 for a broadband? Or $300? What's the pay structure? Are they going to pay us as if we're, I don't know if you have ever bought web space from a virtual web server.
Yeah.
But when you buy web space, you're charged based upon the bandwidth that you take from their server to deliver your content. Is that how they're going to start billing us per gigabyte?
I don't know.
It's sick, man. I think that people need to really seriously analyze what's going on here, especially in the internet, and realize that we're not. Our freedoms are being infringed upon. Not just by these corporate, conglomerate pieces of unworthy crap, but the government. The government's trying to sit here and seize our internet freedom. Here you have the government utilizing the justice system to gain user information from Twitter, and Twitter is reluctant in giving that information, but some court said that, you got to do it. All these little things are jeopardizing our internet freedom, man, and that's why I'm saying, we got to if anything, we have to realize that this is the purest freedom we're ever going to get in our lives. No matter what part of the world you live in, whether you live in, communist China, or you live in America, or you live in Canada, or you live in Europe, this right here, this internet, and what you conduct yourself and how you conduct yourself on it is as much freedom as you're ever going to get. And when they start curbing this, then what? Then what? Sick, man. Anyway, Tech Guy, you want to plug your blog here, man?
No, I'm okay. I'm good on my blog. My blog gets a little bit of hits, but I'm trying to keep your show on that blog, but I'm going to put up a new blog soon, on a little tutorial to something that some people might like. I'm going to put up some new stuff, but I'll reblog you again after a while. So that your blog is... All right,
Tech Guy. No problem, man. We appreciate you calling up. We appreciate you listening, man. You kick back, you chill, get yourself some coffee or whatever your libation is, and just listen in, man, all right?
All right.
All right, take it easy, man. You be cool. All right, that was the Tech Guy, folks. What we're talking about now is AT&T announcing today that they are going to set a 150-gigabyte cap on DSL services starting May 2nd. And if you go over that 150 cap, who knows? I don't know if you're charged. I don't know if you're going to be, just not able to, be on the internet anymore. Who the hell knows, for Christ's sake? This is definitely limiting the potential for freedom on the internet. It's really disgraceful what's happening to this country, and not only to this country, but to now our digital freedom, for Christ's sake, huh? Oh, Jesus Christ! No, I'm not. Once again, now people are making the argument that they are against internet freedom because they want to charge you money. No. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that broadband access is very limited to a small, limited number of conglomerates. And the reason is because every one of those conglomerates that own the infrastructure of broadband access have purchased these infrastructures through the small, mid-sized operations that put the fiber optic networks to be there to begin with. Now, what I'm saying is that they are now going to charge, after you download on over 150 gigabytes per month, they're going to charge you per gigabyte. I'm assuming that's what they're going to do, or unless they're just going to not let you have the internet access until next month. I don't know. But I think that this is very inappropriate. I think if they were going to charge anything, they could have upped the cap rate a little bit more than 150 gigabytes. 150 gigabytes really isn't nothing, man, compared to what people actually go out and seek the internet for. You just heard a caller saying, hey, I watch Netflix. I watch YouTube videos. And just one Netflix movie could probably run you 2-3 gigs. What if you like movies? You want to take advantage of Netflix or whatever video provider that you look for. This is going to cost you not only money to actually buy the content to watch on your computer or device, but it's also going to cost you money if you go over a certain bandwidth. It's ridiculous, it's really ridiculous. And let me tell you, the AT&T has the infrastructure. They have the infrastructure to continue to supply unlimited bandwidth, But the thing is that they don't want to do it. They just want to be able to charge people. And it's going to go back to the old days. I was just commenting that it's going to go back to the way it was when it was AOL, for Christ's sake. And I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go back to the old AOL system, for Christ's sake. I don't want to go back there. Charging by the hour and all this other crap. It's sick, man. It's sick. Now, look, I'm not sitting here and saying that we need to have access to the PO in America. And you see, that's another dilemma. That aren't we spending stimulus package money to put broadband, Wi-Fi access in the ghettos and the projects and stuff, and now you got AT&T saying that we're going to give you a cap I mean, do you understand? It just feeds into how capitalists, us as true capitalists, are getting screwed, for Christ's sake. Ah, Jesus Christ. 646-652-4869 is the number to call here. Hey, AT&T can do what it wants, but what I'm saying is that we got to just not be AT&T customers. All right? And I know that all you people that are AT&T customers, you got a hard on because you got the iPhone and it makes you look great and it makes chicks wet when you pull it out, whatever. But in essence, what are you doing? All right, what are you doing? You're just buying into a bunch of ridiculous, trendy BS, you know? I mean, all you assholes that got a hard-on for the iPad, look, they just released the last one this past weekend. Now look at you. Do you feel as jovial about waiting in line for that iPad the first time now that they just put out a second one? And they're probably going to put out another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and you idiots are just going to continue buying it, even though these things are probably made like, $15 in China. Maybe $20 on a gross wholesale buy from China. I mean, seriously. It just makes me sick to my stomach that, American people just don't understand what's going on out here. And now they're going to start charging you for all those videos and all the fun that you like to do online. They're going to charge you for it. You only got a cap of 150 gigabytes, for Christ's sake. Why don't you take a look at your video that you like? One of the videos that you like that maybe is an hour long, 2 hours long, and just take a look at how many megabytes or how many gigabytes that particular file is. And if it's the beginning of the month and it's 2.5, 3 gigabytes, you're already 2.5, 3 gigabytes in. One movie, that's it. That's not including if you like to listen to the True Capitalist broadcast. That's not including if you like to watch sitcoms over the internet via Netflix. That's not including Skype if you like to have video conferencing on Skype. It's not including any of this stuff. It's sick, man. I think it's sick. 646-652-4869 is the number to call here. We're going to take some more callers. Area code 213, you're on the air.
Hey, Ghost. Hey, I'm glad that you're actually pointing out the whole thing with the gigabyte cap, because Comcast did the same thing a year ago, and it brought on a lot of controversy. And I guess now that it's AT&T, it's become a bigger issue. But I want to break down some numbers for the listeners here, and it's not like the harbinger of death for streaming videos. All right. I haven't had cable in over 2 years. The reason I haven't had cable is because I can download shows and I can go to Hulu.com and I can stream those shows. All right. While you were sitting there talking to the tech guy, I did some math, okay? For the average Blu-ray movie, which is 3.2 gigs per movie, the 150 gigabytes per month would allow you to download 1.58 movies a day, which turns out in a 30-day month to be 46.8 movies. And that's Blu-ray quality. When you download and stream from Netflix, you don't get Blu-ray quality. They might advertise as Blu-ray quality. You don't get that kind of quality. When you turn a movie file and then an MP3 into an MP4 file to stream it on YouTube, it decreases the size of that file by 80%. So it's not really, you're not going to be, it's not the end of the internet is what I'm basically saying. I mean, are you currently involved in a situation where you have to pay a certain cap limit or there's a price after the cap is fulfilled, or are you under that current plan? I'm not under that current plan. I have my internet through Cox Communications, and they don't have any cap right now. But if they were to implement the same cap that you're talking about, 150 gigs a month, that would allow me to download 46.8 Blu-ray quality movies. And when you stream a movie, whether it's over your PS3 or you're playing Madden online, you're never going to reach that limit. You would have to be, honestly, to consume 150 gigabytes worth of bandwidth a month, you would have to be a hardcore pirater. Like when we stream your show, yeah, if you were to put your show in a WAV file and distribute it like that, it would be, 200, 300, 400 megabytes. But because it's a streaming audio and the quality's less, it's not the same. It's not the same. So, 150 gigabytes to me is a very fair download limit. And the reason these companies are doing this is because people like me haven't had cable for 2 years. That's the reason they're starting to post, because the internet's becoming the new cable. Instead of watching Family Guy on Fox, I watch Family Guy on Hulu. I don't pay a cent for it. I got to watch a couple advertisements, but I still see the same show over the internet. And that's why these guys, that's why these companies are starting to revert to a gigabyte usage plan, as opposed to you have your cable fee and then you have your online fee.
No, I completely understand, but they're still trying to, encapsulate these bundled packages when trying to sell you these these internet features. Now, not everybody is as bright as you. Not everybody is as bright as I. Some people don't really understand what's going on here. And not to mention that I think, in my personal opinion, that the cap at the very minimum should be raised a tad bit. Because I think, I beg to differ with you. There's a lot of people that are hardcore computer addicts out here, and there's nothing wrong with being a computer addict.
Look. And Ghost, I'm a hardcore computer addict. I listen to your show every day. I'm constantly streaming radio stations, sports talk radio stations. I'm constantly streaming, videos off Hulu. But for those. All right, if I were to download your show into an MP3 or WAV format, it would take anywhere between, let's just say 35 to 100 megabytes, depending on if it's an MP3 or a WAV. The minute you start streaming that video or you turn it into an MP4, the quality stays the same, but the amount of megabytes goes down exponentially. Whenever I upload videos to YouTube, I'll take a video file and I'll take a WAV or MP3 file and I'll put them together. All right, the video file may be, 50 to 80 megabytes. The MP3 may be 4 to 5 megabytes. But once I compress them into an MP4, you're talking 5 to 10 megabytes. So it's when it comes to streaming video, that's a bad argument, because streaming video is a much more compact, and you're not going to get the same quality you do with Blu-ray or any HD. But seriously, who needs to download 46.8 Blu-ray movies a month?
Well, I'm just thinking about the potential of somebody who actually likes, and just like yourself, integrates all aspects of their entertainment content gathering through the Internet. For instance, if you have your Internet connected to your television, you have your Internet connected to your regular PC.
Right,
and at every point in time of your life, and at every point in time of your life, you're going to be watching something that has to use bandwidth. You're going to have to be listening to something that happens to use bandwidth. You have to be surfing for something that happens to use bandwidth. And I just think that, in this day and age where, you've got, I'm not just talking about video. I'm just talking about every single thing. We're some fast searchers out here. There's a lot of websites within themselves that are about 50 megabytes because of Flash and because of, these high multimedia files. So I'm just saying that, I understand what you're talking about, that they're doing this because to offset the lack of cable providers, or the lack of cable subscriptions, the lack of landline subscriptions. But what I'm saying is that potentially, as technology continues and as bit rates and as quality needs to continue with that convergence of technology, I think that these cap limits are going to be very, very limited when it comes to actually partaking in certain aspects of the Internet. I think that we've just seen the beginning of the Internet. I just think that, it's going to be a lot more than just pages. It's going to be a lot more than just clicking and this and that. I think at some point we're going to see it so integrated that it can be integrated into a virtual reality perception. And there's already, projects and already working projects that have been done, that are still being done currently when integrating this with the Internet. And I feel that 150 gigabyte cap is just not appropriate, given the fact that we are converging all medias into one media. Now, I understand that they want to compensate for the lack of income that they're getting from cable subscriptions and telephone subscriptions. But they're already setting up a low point so that when technology converges and continues to go forward and applications become more and more high intense, integrated with video, audio, I mean, who the hell knows what else anybody else is going to come up with. I think that, it's just not going to be suitable for those of us that integrate the internet in every part of our lives. I just don't think it's going to be suitable, man.
Well,
I could
let
be
me
wrong.
put it like this. All right, by my calculations, all right, 46.8 Blu-ray movies that I'm downloading, per se illegally. Not saying I download movies illegally. Who would do that? I mean, I don't even know what a torrent is. But you're downloading 46.8 Blu-ray movies a month, and you would be right at the cap limit. And for my internet, I can average on a good site, I can average anywhere between 1 to 2 megs a second. All right, if I were to go out and buy 46 Blu-ray movies at $30 a piece, it'd be a lot more than my $50 per month that I spend for the internet. So I'm still getting a bargain. I can bitch and moan all I want to, but I'm still getting a bargain compared to market price. And it's, that's why I'm a capitalist, baby. And that's oh, hold on, my kid's crying. God damn it. My kid's crying, baby.
Thank you for calling, but, that's actually a good point. But once again, I feel, though, that, they've integrated everybody with a certain level of expectation for unlimited bandwidth. And if they were going to raise the price at all, they shouldn't raise it based upon any kind of bandwidth level or any kind of, cap level or anything of that nature. They should just raise the price in general. They should raise the price and say, you know what, this is what we're going to do. We're going to raise the price a certain amount. And then once we raise that price, we're going to eliminate the cable as a option for payment. We're going to eliminate the landline, even though I don't think anyone should eliminate a landline because, let's say some natural disaster happens in your part of the woods and you need some kind of electricity. Well, a landline, believe it or not, actually has a small, it's not, tremendous amount of voltage, but it does have electricity going through it. And, if all else fails, you can actually, take your, I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but you can. Let's just put it that way, all right? You can actually get something, a light going on. Maybe you can light up a few things with your telephone line. I kid you not. So that's the only reason why I still buy a landline, because you never know. I know people think that maybe I'm being a hyper-sensationalist here, but, folks, we just witnessed a 9.0 earthquake in Japan that caused one of the most horrific tsunamis that I've ever seen in a country of modernity. And it's just completely crippled them to their knees. And now they, unfortunately, the devastation is so vast that the search and rescue, which is in the hundreds of thousands, can't get to these people because the debris is just too vast. So what are you going to do till then? You got to think about these things. They have no electricity. If you had a landline, because most phone lines are underground, the possibility or the probability of that landline still working, if not working to, make a phone call, at least working to, get some electricity, the probability of that's pretty high. Anyway, I'm not trying to act Mr. Survivalist here or act like I'm MacGyver. I'm just making that suggestion. That's how my brain works. I always think about every possibility. But getting back to the AT&T putting this 150 gigabyte cap per month starting May 2nd, I'm saying if they wanted to make more money, they should have just upped the price of the damn DSL. They should have just upped it, even if it was dramatic, even if it was $150 a month. Just give us better service. First of all, I don't think that I'm getting broadband service. I think broadband can be better than this. I mean, I think broadband could literally be faster than this. I think I got one of the fastest internet connections that, this particular provider provides me, and I'm still not satisfied. I'm not satisfied at all. I've been on T3, connections that, make this look like a piece of garbage, So the only thing I'm saying is that AT&T was trying to compensate for its lack of cable subscriptions. It's trying to compensate for its lack of landline subscriptions. What it needs to do is just up the price of the broadband price and still allow it to be unlimited bandwidth. But no, they want to put a cap of 150 gigabytes. I think it's ridiculous. That's what I think it is. I think it's pathetic. Anyway, folks, 646-652-4869. I'm going to talk about something else, folks, which is near and dear to my heart, because the Iranian resistance that's within Iran trying to overthrow the Ayatollah right now is something that I have a lot of compassion for. But today, the Ayatollah's Iranian authority, the Iranian government announced today that it now has a cyber army. It now has a cyber army, and it is now directed them to conduct cyber attacks against its enemies, quote unquote. And this is one of the first countries ever to admit that they have such a cyber warfare-like faction to their military-industrial complex. No, seriously, they think that they have a cyber army that is, completely devoted to them. That they think that, that this army, well, actually, I guess they do. They have a cyber army that's dedicated to the Ayatollah. That's going to continue to, stay loyal to the vanguard of Iranian authority. I mean, this is disgusting, man. I mean, who is Iran to sit over here and claim that they got a cyber army? Who the hell are you, Iran? You're sitting over here still buying old telecommunications towers from China, and this isn't even the modern telecommunications towers. This is one of these ones that China used 10 years ago, and they gave it to you because you're schmucks. This is the same Iran that sits over here and is slaughtering their own people, just like they are in Libya, but even worse in Iran. They're slaughtering their own people. They're kidnapping opposition family members and torturing them and killing them. And now these assholes in Iran sit here and try to say to us that they got a cyber army and they're going to, quote-unquote, attack its enemies. And in the state-run news in Iran, when they announced that they had a cyber army, they claimed that there are certain blogs and websites that are targeted enemies of the Iranian cyber army. And, I started thinking to myself, I'm probably one of those targets by the cyber army because I hate the Iranian government. I think the Iranian government is a piece of trash. It's hypocrisy to Islam, and it's a hypocrisy to the people. So either way you want to spin it, that's just the way it is. All right? Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do, but you know what? You know what I say? You know what I say? I'll tell you what I say. I say that if these idiots want to sit here and play games, like Tony Montana said, "Hey, you want to play games? You want to play games? Okay, I'll play games." I think that we should call on all hackers throughout the world to hack the bejesus out of the Iranian government's infrastructure out there, since these idiots made it public that they are going to conduct cyber warfare on everybody that is, quote-unquote, enemies of the Iranian state authority. This is just disgusting, man. This is just horrible. What kind of balls does this dumbass country have? They're slaughtering their own people, for Christ's sake, man. They're slaughtering their own people. That anybody who was in opposition to this government, this Iranian government, their families got kidnapped and they got tortured. Do you understand? I mean, and look, it's not like America. You know, at least in America we got guns. You know, if they ever did that to us, at least we'll go down fighting. They don't have guns in Iran. The military has all the guns. Do you understand? I mean, the citizenry is just completely unarmed, and all they're doing is going out there and protesting, and they're still just shooting these people down. And then this Iranian authority has the audacity to sit here and say they got a cyber army? You piece of crap. You piece of Ayatollah worshiping hypocritical crap. You've got a cyber army? You kidding me? Let me tell you something right now. And this is a call to anybody within the sound of my voice, all right? And I don't care what your ideology is. I don't care if you're a capitalist or not a capitalist. But let me tell you something. What right is right, all right? These Iranians have implemented crimes against humanity that go beyond the comprehension of anybody's mental perception. And for these idiots to sit over here and advocate on our internet that they have a cyber army that's going to implement any kind of cyber warfare on any of us deserves a global, worldwide attack, a cyber attack on the Iranian government. Since they are touting such big balls cyber armies, since they want to play games, since they want to sit here and tout that, oh, look at us, and I mean, why don't everybody, all right? Everybody out there just throw it. Just throw it all at them. And now, what are they going to do? What, the denial of service attacks? Huh? I mean, is that what you're going to do, Iran? Denial of service attack? Here, I'm going to throw some packets, and this will slow them down. I mean, give me a break. Give me a break, man. Let me tell you something. I'll tell you what right now, all right? I got money on anybody who can hack the Iranian government's website and just tell these idiots, hey, look, you idiots just stick to fighting your own wars in, whatever it is that you do, Iran, all right? Fighting your own wars with your domestic people. You know, go ahead and try to cause domestic unrest in your own. But let me tell you something right now, all right? Let me tell you something right now. You don't have any kind of effectiveness in this internet, you piece of crap. All right? I mean, who the hell do you think? Who the hell does Iran think they are, man? Can somebody explain that to me? Who the hell do they think they are, thinking they can dictate crap on our internet? This is ours. It belongs to us, you asshole. Cyber army. Give me a break. I'm serious. I mean, you know, folks, I know there's people out there that are saying, hey, that's pretty scary, Ghost, but I'm serious. This is a call on anybody who's listening in out there. This Iranian government has gone way far beyond its level of lunacy. I mean, way far beyond. I mean, it's already killed its own people. It's trying to provoke international unrest by provoking some kind of military theater of combat. They're hypocrites. You know, their own people don't want to be ruled by. This is an Islamic state, believe it or not. Iran is an Islamic state, and the people that they are ruling over don't want to be a part of the Islamic state any longer. I mean, this goes against the whole fabric of Islam, the whole idea. This is why I'm saying, folks, it doesn't matter what you're for. It doesn't matter what your politics, what your religion, whatever it is. These people in Iran have an intellectual foundation, and they want not just freedom in the sense of, oh, yeah, I want to be an American. They just want opportunity to be capitalists. Do you understand? And you can look at, Google up Iran documentaries. You're going to see young people pleading to the international community, begging for them to intervene and try to get this stupid Ayatollah out of power so that they can conduct themselves in the economic global model. And this is not this is not a lie, it's a fact. So, Iran over here, I got a cyber army. We got a little cyber army going on over here, a little Ahmadinejad over here, got a little cyber army. Just shove it up your ass, really. You know, what are you going to do? You're going to make a little Visual Basic virus and attach it onto some email with some bimbo's name, like, cherry ass or something, and have a subject line, hey, here's a pic of me and my whatever, and give me a break, man. Cyber army, give me a freaking break. Iran has a cyber army. I mean, it's just disgusting, man. It's disgusting. Who the hell do these idiots think they are, man, trying to sit here and threaten everybody in the internet community by saying, oh, yes, we got the cyber army, you motherfucker. You sit here talk garbage against the Indian government. We will give a cyber military army. We will cyber attack your ass. You'll cyber attack nothing. All right? Anyway, 646-652-4869. What do you think about Iran's new paramilitary cyber army that is going to, quote-unquote, attack its enemies? And let me tell you, I get hits from Iran, folks, all right? I get hits from Iran. Not only that, I get hits from China. And I would think, given the fact that I'm such a controversial character and don't really give a crap about either one of those governments, you would think that, both of those governments would be pretty well monitoring their people to make sure that none of their people are looking at my content. And yet I still get constant hits from both of these countries. So what I'm saying is, obviously, I'm probably one of these targets by one of these stupid, dumbass little cyber armies, these governments. Who cares? All right? I'm about humanity that wants to change. I know there's a lot of people that criticize me saying I'm some heartless bastard, that I don't care about people or something. Are you kidding me? I care about people that care about themselves. I mean, in Iran, the people of Iran, I've done a lot of research into them. I've talked to them personally. I personally corresponded with the resistance before they were disconnected because of a variety of different reasons. The whole nine. We have to realize when people want to make a change for themselves, as opposed to the Yehudis in Egypt that just want to throw themselves into chaos for the sakes of throwing themselves into chaos. That was the difference. And this goes through the same with the Chinese government. Because the Chinese people have been proven. Look at Tiananmen Square. Look at what happened in 1989 in June at Tiananmen Square. And that'll show you, that'll prove to you that these Chinese people want to be participants in capitalism. And same with these Iranians in 2009. Look at the images. Just look it up for yourself, man. Don't take my word for it. And now you got these asshole Iranians. Oh, we got the cyber army. We are going to get you, and we are going to get the cyber army. We're going to put a denial of service attack. Well, you know what? You can try to denial of service attack me, but I make my own operating system, folks. All right. I know everybody out there. They got the wind blows. They got the what was it? Linux. They got all these I got my own operating system. I know there's a new operating system out there called WebOS that I believe Hewlett Packard's distributing, which is, comical. And, of course, you got Android, which is distributed by Google. No. I wrote my own operating system. So, all these little Iranian hacksaws that think that they're going to somehow, hit me up, you're not going to be able to hit me up, man. I've got my own operating system, Penix 2.0. All right? And there's no way that you can get around the firewall of my Penix 2.0 operating system. So, you idiots out here in Iran that think that you're getting a cyber army, you're going to attack enemies, let me tell you something right now, all right? I've got a big operating system, all right? Penix 2.0. And let me tell you something, there's nothing you can do about this. It'll penetrate your system before you penetrate it. All right? Anyway, 646-652-4869 is the number to call. Give me a call right now. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you think about Iran claiming that they now have a cyber army that's going to, quote-unquote, go after their enemies, And in the report by state-run media, they credit certain blogs, quote-unquote, and websites for inciting domestic unrest, and they're going to take care of them according to the Iranian state government. I want to hear from you. What do you think? Are you afraid now, as an internet citizen, as somebody that's out there conducting themselves on the internet? Are you a little scared now that Iran has its cyber army? Gladys, are you afraid? I'm going to assume by that tribal music that you are afraid. So I'm going to take that as a yes. And I would be afraid too. You know? I would be afraid too. I mean, Jesus Christ, you know. I mean, you got, you know, a bunch of Iranian autocrats. Or no, not autocrats. They're theocrats, because they're implementing their authority based upon religion. It's not based upon any kind of political idealism like it is here in America with, you know, political philosophy. No, Iran is being ran upon religious theocracy, and this religious theocracy has been shown to be contradictory time and time again. And this is why the people of Iran are rising up, and this is why the people of Iran want capitalism, and we should be helping these people. Anyway, 646-652-4869 is the number to call. 408, you're on the air.
What's poppin', Ghost? It's Goofy Bone.
Hey, what's up, man? It's Goofy Bone in the house, man. What's going on?
What's poppin', Ghost, man? I didn't even want to look at the market today. Everything that I have took a dump except for good old Caterpillar. And
let me tell you something. What I tell you about Caterpillar, man, it ain't going nowhere. Even if this unfortunate incident didn't happen in Japan, it still isn't going nowhere. Now it's going to take a tremendous spike up, because Caterpillar is going to be needed for these earth-moving machines that they have, so that they can clean the debris and come back from their unfortunate situation, which I know Japan will come back.
So that's what I did. What I did was I day traded. I took everything, almost everything out of GE, because it's been going down lately, and I just threw it all into Caterpillar. So
GE took a dive because of the uncertainty with nuclear energy. All the nuclear, any company that was invested in nuclear energy took a tremendous dive. If you happen to be invested in Nokia today took a dive of about 17% because it is invested in certain investments in nuclear energy. I mean, everybody has taken a dive that has anything to do with nuclear energy because of this potential meltdown that is still unknown or uncertain if it is going to happen or isn't going to happen in Japan, which is putting a bad taste in people's mouths when it comes to potentially utilizing nuclear energy as some sort of a viable option for supplying light to the earth, if you will.
Yeah, you know, I believe all that, but over here, you know, everyone's so scared about tsunamis, and even my dad, he bought this big old tsunami pack that people are starting to hustle people now. I mean, it's the thing.
What a tsunami! Are you kidding? A tsunami pack?
It comes with a sleeping bag, a tent, some like astronaut food, some water in a bag. Man, these people are making a hustle off it, and I'm not getting mad at them because they're capitalizing, but they're doing it on the wrong thing. They don't care. You know what I mean?
God, I mean, you know, look, I mean, that's just sick, really. That's really what it is. Because let's be honest. I mean, if you're caught up in a tsunami, you ain't. I mean, what's the probability of you surviving? I mean, you know, I'm not trying to make it a funny situation, but I mean, let's be honest, man. I saw some of that footage from Japan when those people were, when these people were in the midst of driving. I mean, did you see that clip when they were driving and the tsunami just came in and these people stopped and they just saw their last seconds of life just flash before their eyes? I mean, I just don't understand. Like, you know, if you're in the path of a natural disaster, I don't think that, you know, a tsunami pack or any other kind of survivalist pack is going to help you. Now, do I agree that you should be somewhat, somewhat
prepared?
I don't want to necessarily say prepared, because prepared means that there's something that's impending. I would just like to say safe. And always have bottled water, always have, non-perishable goods, have some canned food. Have you ever heard of heater meals?
No, I have never.
You should actually look into that. I think everybody should look into heater meals. It's actually a meal that can cook itself. Believe it or not, it can cook itself in the box. I kid you not.
Innovation.
I am not joking. I mean, it utilizes weird chemical technology to. It's a chemical reaction technology. It's not like you throw chemicals in the food, but. You take the food out of the box, you do a couple of things to it, you throw it back in the box, and believe it or not, the box cooks the food, and it's actually a edible meal that actually tastes fairly well. It's not the greatest. You're not eating filet mignon here, but I think everybody should look into heater meals. I think they have long lifespans. It's a hot meal with you don't need a fire, you don't need you can eat it right out of the container that it's in. As a matter of fact, I think that these people should, or anybody listening in, just should have these a stack of these in general, just in case if there is, let's say, a solar storm. NASA's coming out saying that solar storms may knock out electricity throughout the international community. It may knock out the whole electrical grid. Well, what are you going to do if there's no electricity? Well, you're going to have to, do something. And it's always good to be safe. I'm not saying prepared because I don't know if anything's going to happen. Nobody knows. Nobody could have predicted this stuff. But once again, to know that there's technologies like this out there. As a matter of fact, there's also another technology utilizing energy through kinetic movements. Now, what that means is that, there's like a little, it looks like a little bar to a certain extent. And you can actually put this bar in your pocket and attach it to your cell phone, and it actually charges your cell phone as you're walking, or it uses your movement to charge your cell phone. You see, these types of technologies is what people should be really focusing on if they're really concerned about a potential natural disaster or a potential cataclysmic event. Is these types of technologies that are going to, keep people safe and still communicable, still tied to technology and not completely primitive,
Yeah, that's crazy. I wanted to touch up on the AT&T thing because I've been an AT&T customer almost all my life, and now if they're going to start doing this, then I got to go somewhere else. And I hate Comcast, to be honest with you. All my girls into Section 8. They have a free internet, and that's their internet, Comcast, and it's terrible. To be honest with you, sometimes you're downloading something, it'll pause, and then it'll come back, and it's at a good speed, but it does its pause. So if I'm listening to your show, Ghost, from an hour to your next hour, it'll pause for 15 minutes, and I'll be a delay of 15 minutes from hearing your show.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me?
I'm serious.
No way. How is that?
It got me thinking that you were actually doing an overtime show, so I called during your overtime, but it said that your show was already off. So I was like, oh, man, these motherfuckers.
Oh, man, that's horrible. You see, that's why I'm critical of what AT&T's doing here. It's going to limit the possibility of somebody who is wanting to encompass every part of content gathering with the internet. It's going to prevent them from doing so. Especially if you have Netflix or any of these other video internet technologies. If you like YouTube, if you like the True Capitalist radio show, if you like high-end video games, multiplayer video games, a lot of things people need to worry about when it comes to these damn caps on goddamn AT&T, Comcast. And it's concerning me because, who are these people to sit here and try to say, we need to do is we need to just add more caps and add more money if you go over 150 gigabyte and all that other crap. I don't get it, man. I use
215 average every month because I always check to see how much I use because I'm a rapper and I got to communicate with so many people throughout the world. So I'm constantly downloading, listening to Blog Talk radio shows, always downloading your show, Ghost, because when I'm late at night, smoking a good one, I throw on the True Capitalist radio. episode, from back from episode 1. I used to listen to you when you were a True Conservative Radio, but I understand because I was once a conservative until the stupid Sarah Palin said, okay, yeah, teenage kids could have kids. It's nothing. That's nothing. It's everyday life. Yeah. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, man, you're damn right. That makes me sick.
I believe in the
and not only that, she's making it okay for bimbos to just kind of go out and just dump kids out like they're, just something to do, and then go out and become, whatever the hell they are. I mean, this is why it makes me sick when I see Sarah Palin out here, and she's trying to claim herself to be the mouthpiece of conservatism, claiming to be the mother of the year, the saintiest of, evangelicals. This broad has the audacity to come out here, and then her daughters become, loosey whorebags. Bristol Palin, hops on something that looks good in a hockey stick. And, we're supposed to just somehow just forgive this broad because not only is she an incompetent mother, an incompetent politician, but she's stupid. She's a stupid bimbo, and we're just supposed to just absolve this bitch of all this because why? Because she's got a conservative label? No way. If that's what conservative is, I drop conservative because of that. So, hey, Sarah Palin, you Alaskan, igloo living, a club and a seal bimbo, you can keep the conservative label because I'm a capitalist. I'm a capitalist till the day I die. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tattoo that crap on me, here soon enough. I am a capitalist till death, and I don't care what anybody thinks about it. That's all there is to it, man.
Exactly. Like you say in your beginning, give you capitalism or give you death, and that's it, plain and simple. Because nowadays,
you're damn right, man.
These people in the White House and all these little Democrats and Republicans, they're all the same. They're all the same. They're all the same, but in their own little versions. You know what I mean? It's like Revenge of the Nerds. You have the jocks that took over for some time, and then you had the Revenge of the Nerds come over and just make it their own way. You know what I mean, Ghost?
Yeah.
And believe me.
I hear you, man. Hey, before you go, Goofy, I'm actually going to play your song here in a second.
Oh, did you see my dad's boat?
What's that?
Did you see the picture of my dad's boat?
No, I didn't get to see it, man. I didn't get to see that.
It was in the same email. Oh, I emailed you. Did you get it?
Oh, yeah, I did get it. I just I do a whole bunch of things during the day, man, when it comes to trading and stuff like that, and I usually set up for the show like literally 15 minutes before the show starts. So there's no like planning or anything of that nature,
okay.
but I did plan on airing your song. So if you don't mind, I'd like to air your song here.
Yeah, sure, Ghost. That's why I sent it to you. Do whatever you want, Ghost.
This is Goofy Bone. Give it to her. Now before we play this song, why don't you give us a little bit of an enlightening insight on exactly what motivated you to write this particular piece?
All right. Well, this particular piece is basically going out to all the women out there that have, met a guy and then right away they fall in love with him. Now, for me, every time I meet a woman, we go to bed, have sex. Next thing you know, I'm her boyfriend without my consent. So this is a song to let them basically know, hey, I'm not your boyfriend. I'm just your bone, plain and simple. And to those idiotic people who don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not your boyfriend. I'm just your, fuck. Whatever.
And is that you singing the chorus, man? Or is that some?
Yeah, that's really because I'm working by myself, Ghost. So it's like I don't got no.
Are you kidding me, man? I'm gonna. If I had a ride out here, I don't really drive too much anymore out here in Austin. I usually just walk around. But if I had a ride, I would actually bump this song in my ride.
Yeah.
Shout
out to all those trolls out there that are hating on me in the chat room, but middle finger to all y'all. A capitalist to a capitalist it's like God's talking to God, and you little people don't know shit. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the song. But anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, don't worry about it. I'm going to put you on hold there, Goof, and I'm going to introduce this song, and I'm going to take a real quick break, and then we'll bring you back, and then we'll take some callers. All right?
Okay, sir. Sounds good.
All right, no problem. Everybody, now the reason I'm bringing up Goofy Bone here. He's an avid listener. Always calls up. He told me he was a rapper. So I did some research, and I come to my conclusion that he is a rapper, an extensive rapper, and I've basically listened to him. I mean, because he's an avid listener. He's actually taken some of the stock advice that I have put forth, and he's capitalized. So I'm paying the respect. So I want to let everybody know now, before we air this particular song by the listener Goofy Bone that calls the True Capitalist Radio Show on a consistent basis and listens to it, I would like everybody to realize that this is not a song for young children. So if you happen to be under the age of 18, please go to another room, take a crap, go do a wee-wee or something of that nature, because right now what I'm about to play is not something that should be listened to by young children. All right, and if you happen to be a parent of young children, please remove them from the vicinity quickly. Okay. Now, this song that Goofy Bone wrote, and I like it. I think it's. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. This song here is... All right, I'm sorry. I'm just saying, the song just impacted me in a way that's just... I mean, I don't think anything else could have impacted me like this. Anyway, without any further ado, folks, this is Goofy Bone, all right? Give It To Her. But I like to call this song, Just Give Her a Bone. Hey, Goofy Bone right here, man, and make sure to look him up if you like this, or if you want to hear more of it, man. He's out there on YouTube. He's out there on, a variety of different areas. Look him up, Goofy Bone. Here it is. Give It To Her. And once again, if you have any children in the vicinity, please just get them out now. Get them out. You're going to de-virginize their ears, literally, if you sit here and listen to... I'm sorry. Anyway, let me go ahead and just play the goddamn song, all right? Here's Goofy Bone, Give It To Her, all right? Now listen closely. You might learn something.
Sorry. I've got sex on my mind. You know why? Because it's so fucking hot. You're turning me on. I've always wanted to fuck you. And here's my chance.
Baby girl, you must understand. I could never be your man. I'm just here to be your bone, giving you something to moan, hoping that you like it thick. Trust me, baby, I'll bust them lips, getting you nasty, ready to dance. At the end, I wanna be in your pants. Back at my pad, you sitting it slow. Positions are nice where you don't wanna go to. Strangers that are getting freaky. I feel like a plumber fixing this leaky. Put it in the hole like Tiger Woods. Watching this girl just feel so good. She's falling in love, but I think it's too quick. Cause I'm not a boyfriend, I'm just her. I eat a big plate, so we talking about our bullshit lives. After the meal, we go for a drive. We smoking on a big ass blunt. She's looking at me like she wants some, so I passed it to her. Welcome to my land. She got so high where she couldn't even land. Laying on her back with her feet in the air, like a naughty vixen, the girl didn't care. Letting me hit it all kinds of ways. Sweat like thugs trying to run away from the bar, cause you know what we doing is a crime. But let me hit that one more time. She gotta get going, her husband's at home. Cause I'm not her boyfriend, I'm just her. Just give her a bone. Just give her a bone. can't live with it and let it ride. Watching her trying to hold me down, buy me things, trying to keep me around. You can't stop me when I'm on a one-way. I'ma play it for life and there's no other way. So let's get back to what we do best. Pulling down the zipper on her dress. That's the body of the year and it tastes so good. She likes to nail cause I got that wood. Hitting it hard where her eyes roll back. This girl is pursuing and needs to relax. I gotta get going, no bullshit at home cause I'm not her boyfriend, I'm just her.
Timberlake, man, like bringing sexy back, I'm bringing sexy back, sexy back, I'm bringing sexy. Anyway, that was pretty. I'm sorry, man. That was a pretty good song, man. I just had to play it. And not to mention, Goofy Bone is an avid listener. I mean, he's an avid listener. He's an avid listener of the program, and I just had to play that song because, first of all, I thought it was very, I thought it was cool, man. I'm not joking. All right. I mean, because. It's basically, what Goofy Bone is trying to say in that song is what most women are basically playing as an American social landscape. Most women are just basically, and let me bring Goofy Bone back in there. He was actually the one that enlightened me on this. Goofy Bone, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. It's more like a Facebook chat for all these women because that's basically what they're doing. They're hooking up and, Let's see,
that's what I was just about to ask you that, Goofy. You were the one that told me that, you just kind of, can get some bimbo off of Facebook and, within like a couple of hours, this bimbo's like, in a hotel room on your Johnson, sucking the sap out of your Johnson, like you're a damn maple syrup tree or something.
I couldn't have said it any better, Ghost.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Is this what really the social landscape is encompassed out here? Is it just a bunch of loosey whore bags that are just, getting on Facebook, showing themselves in some scantily clad outfits, and then, you Facebook friend them or something, and they look at your picture, and they think that they're digging you, and what do you video conference? Do you phone call? I don't understand, because to be honest with you, when I was growing up, you damn near had to, throw a ring on a bitch's finger before you could even get, to poontang, if you understand what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? I mean, you had to make these bitches believe, you had to make these whores believe that you were, going to marry them and be with them for the rest of their lives, before they even, gave you a hand job, before they even did the black guy handshake on your penis, They would, go ahead.
Ghost, the thing is that, see, guys don't, the true players, now I'll be honest with you, I've been a player before I've been a capitalist, so I know my techniques, and you have to attack like a lion attacks a zebra, quick, painful, and let it go. But see, most people want to take their time and blah, blah, blah. I have no time. The world's going to end next year at the 21st of December, so I have to make a couple of CDs before I go. I have to make some more capital before I go because, believe me, I'm going to try to get on the highest thing I could possibly get because this world's going to get destroyed, people. Do you
think that the world is going to end? You actually think the world's going to end 2012?
Come on, Ghost. I'm Mexican. I believe that my ancestors, the Mayans, or whatever the fuck they were, they made that calendar that I can't even read, so don't tell me what to read. But they say it's going to end in that day, so, I mean, shit. They predicted when the conquistadors from Spain came to their land. They predicted that they would come, and they sure as hell did the same damn day. So it's like, how the hell can they do that from
Well, that's not necessarily true. They didn't necessarily predict the conquistadors coming in. They predicted, according to the interpretation of the Aztec calendar, they predicted a transition or a new cleansing that from that particular. And this is according to the translation of the Aztec calendar. But at the same time. That's just circumstance. It's the same thing that people try to say about Nostradamus. Everybody says Nostradamus predicted this, predicted that. Have you ever read Nostradamus?
I believe it or not, no, I have not. He's never. I've heard what I've heard, but he really never excited me. Like if somebody,
Nostradamus writes 4 lines of abstract, free verse poetry, basically what it is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
4 lines of free verse poetry, and off of those 4 lines, you're supposed to interpret, some loose language as, oh, this is where he predicted Kennedy getting shot. Oh, this is where he predicted World War I. Oh, it's pathetic, goof. And don't get me wrong, I do believe that we are going to witness some things here in the next couple of years. There's no way around it. The celestial evidence shows that we are going to see some severe, dramatic changes in the world. But do I think it's the end of the world? Absolutely not. I think it's the change of more of an acceptance of a global society as opposed to of a fragmented society. We need to stop fragmenting our globe by nationalities and cultures and religions and nationalism and all this other nonsense, because inevitably one cataclysmic event or one devastation could bring us all together, and it shouldn't have to be that way. It shouldn't take death and destruction. It shouldn't take death and destruction to bring us all together. But let's be honest. We're not the best animals on this planet. We are very sadistic people. And as a result, I think that, because we've overpopulated the planet, and because we're consuming everything on the planet as far as natural resources are concerned, and because we have so many people on this planet providing energy on this planet that wasn't, and I'm not speaking like this from some new age hooey BS. I'm just talking about the amount of people that are on the earth that are walking, that are running.
You're freelancing.
Yeah, that are walking, that are running, that are digging into the ground, that are mining, that are doing this and doing that. It has an effect on the earth. And I think at this point in time, we're seeing, and this is scientifically proven, we are seeing an exertion of energy come out from the earth. Not any scientist in the world can explain the origins of a hurricane. No, not one. No, but what they explain it as an exertion of energy, because that's what a hurricane is. It's an exertion of energy from the earth. And where does the earth get all that energy pent up? It gets pent up by people. And these people are ungrateful, and you can feel their negative energy all around you. Just going into a goddamn grocery store and looking at the sour scowls on these people looking at you like, oh, it's not fair. You don't think that has some kind of effect on this earth, on this planet, on the way we view things? You don't think that of course it does. And what I'm saying is we need to realize that, okay, we're seeing cataclysmic events. Okay, we're seeing a lot of celestial anomalies. Okay, we're seeing a lot of these things that are going to open up our horizons to new and out of our perception ideas. But inevitably what's going to happen is those of us that are strong enough and realize that we don't necessarily need to be afraid of anything, because we have already dominated this world. We've already conquered nature. We should be exploring cosmos at this point in time. We should be doing things that should be progressing mankind throughout the universe. And let me tell you, that's what's going to happen, if you want my personal opinion here. And I'm not saying 2012. I'm just saying as the years come by, we as humanity are going to kind of take ourselves out of this simplistic, animalistic
ridiculous mentality that we have come to know and love as the masses of America, and we are going to make a human being and a human race that is going to stand the test of time, continue the continuity, and continue the progress into the future. That's what's going to happen.
I completely agree with you, Ghost. And not to get off topic, but Fernwood private messaged me and wanted me to talk more about me meeting girls on Facebook. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to go ahead and just basically say, you know, you send a friend request or you poke them. You know, they look at your picture, they have interest in you, then you private message them or send them a friend request. And then, you know, you start talking to them from there, see what they're doing this weekend. If they have time in their busy day to come hang out with you, then that's when you attack. Take them to, I don't know, a nice.
Hold on. Is there Facebook game? Is there like, you know, text game that you go and encompass? Like, hey baby, what's going on? Do you like throw her some kind of a text that you know is going to get her wet or something? I don't get it.
Oh no, I just use the Charlie Sheen move. I call them goddesses. And right there, I mean, telling a woman she's beautiful, I mean, that right there, that takes the
what's
cake
up
out
with
of
that? What's up with that crap, you know? What's up with that crap? You know, I mean, it's like, you know, look, I mean, I'm watching, you know, these court shows, you know, whenever I take time off from trading, you know. I watch these court shows, and I see these, you know, disgusting, ghetto-fied pieces of trash literally take some, you know, maybe an ugly chick or something, you know, to the cleaners. I mean, you know, literally, you know, he got her to finance some ridiculous, you know, 84 Cutlass on Dubs for like $10,000, and then once she financed it for him, he was out of there, and that's why they're in court. And all these bitches say the same thing. They're like, well, he told me he loved me. He told me I was beautiful. He told me, I mean, why do women fall for this ridiculous nonsense? Go ahead.
Because some women, you know, they grew up in, you know, harsh times. You know, say they're of course their dad's not around, because if he was, she would have been a more respectable woman, and you know, gone to college. You know, did some importance in life instead of being a Section 8, getting entitlements. You know, a baby maker. You know, because baby making is the best business in the world right now.
It is. I've been saying it.
You know what I'm saying? So she's had, you know, she needs that comfort. So, you know, you throw that blanket over her when she's cold. You know, here, you cold?
Now,
Here's my jacket.
let me ask you some personal questions. Now, have you ever gotten any of these bimbos pregnant?
Never. I'm on the rubber system.
Oh, okay. So condoms work for you.
Condoms work for me.
I mean, every damn court show where there's child support involved, condoms conveniently break, you know, in the testimony of these people, and I just find that hard to believe.
See, it's to the person that puts it on right. It takes 5 seconds to put a condom on if you put it on right. If you just throw it on the tip of your head, your Johnson, and think it's going to save you, no, it's not. Hello, you got to protect the whole thing, and plus, you know, you never know what's out there. So
that's another thing. Have you ever gotten any? Have you ever gotten any of the STDs out there? You know, the chlamydia, the gonorrhea, or any of that stuff? That's a quiet there. Hello, you got quiet. Hey, Goofy, where'd you go, man? You hung up after that. Where'd you go, Goof? I didn't want to scare you. Oh, BTR hung up on him. Well, you can call back, because I'm sure people are wondering, you know, hey, if I become a player, am I going to go out like Willie Lump Lump and, you know, have, you know, all kinds of disgusting, despicable things wrong with my Johnson because I'm banging, you know, $2 slut bags that are, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm asking. I mean, any kind of STDs there?
Am I live now, Ghost?
Yeah, you're live, man. Are there any kind of STDs going on there? You know, because when you're playing, that means that you're in a lot of poons, or you know, and maybe in a lot of other orifices. So go ahead.
I was on Jenny Jones back in the days, back when Jenny Jones had a show about players, and they.
Are you kidding me, man?
I'm serious, Ghost. I'm
you're
dead
on
serious.
Jenny Jones.
Dead serious. I don't have I don't have the video, but on YouTube, let me post the YouTube clip. You'll see the part where I'm sitting down right there on Jenny Jones. But anyways, they lie detector tested me. And I passed all those lie detector tests, Ghost. But see, none of these other so-called players, they had some phony. I mean, these guys were straight entitlement pushers. These guys were straight, honey, let me borrow $20 and I'll get you back next week, people.
Okay, and I'll tell you what. I'm curious there, Goofy. Is there any way that you have three-way or something where you can call up a broad right now and throw your game? Because there's a lot of people that are interested in this right now. I get a lot of private messages from people that are like, they want to get in on some of this action that you're partaking in. You can tell. I mean, I'm getting a lot of private messages here. So, is that at all possible, or you don't have?
Well, actually, unfortunately, I'm on Boost, and Boost, everybody knows that you can't do three-way on Boost. So, unfortunately, I can't. But let me look.
But I tell you what. If we went into a private screening room, and you gave me the number, and I called, could you show some game here?
Yeah, sure.
All right, hold on. All right, that sounds good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the show on hold for 1 second. Folks, don't go anywhere. I'm going to just put it on hold for 1 second. I'm going to talk to Goofy Bone here, see if we can get this female's number, and see if kind of game Goofy Bone's talking here. Anyway, if you're just tuning in, this is the third hour of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And right now we're in the middle of an experiment because the crowd and the people that are listening in really want to hear this. So here, let me put on something here really quick. Here, I'm going to put on the Cowboy Poetry instrumental. And I know people, somebody posted that particular bit of me on YouTube. I thought it was rather funny. So here's Cowboy Poetry. I'll be right back. I'm just going to talk to Goofy Bone here for a second, and we'll be right back. All right. Now, folks, now hold on. Hold on just a second. We're on hold. I'm talking to Goofy Bone as we speak, and we're gonna call some broad. So just hold on for me. I know this is Cowboy Poetry, but just hold on. We're back. Engineer, shut that crap up. Shut it off. All right, I'm back. Let me tell you something right now. We're going to call somebody here. Goofy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Ghost.
All right, now let me open up a Negra on this one. Hold on.
Yeah, let me open the Corona real quick.
Now, what we're going to do here, I know the show's took in a different direction, but there's a lot of people interested in this, so we're just rolling with it. We're going to call a chick named Maria. Is that her name, man?
Yeah, her name's Maria. I met her this weekend at Freddie J's. It's a club in downtown San Jose.
All right, you met her. Now, this is going to be your first conversation, right?
After talking to her at the club, yeah, like on the phone, yeah, this will be our first time.
All right. Now, take us into your strategy so that people that are listening in out there that want to get some kind of strategy when approaching a bimbo. What is your strategy going into the first conversation after meeting a bitch at the club?
I got to feel her out. I already filled her out at the club. Seeing what her background is. Now, I call them during the week and see, hey, can we set something up for the weekend? Maybe me and you on a Thursday night, because people party on Thursday nights. You've been down on 6th Street on a Thursday night.
I party out all week on 6th Street. Are you kidding me, man?
Yeah.
It never ends out here. It never ends.
So Thursday night's a good night to go out and just give her a bone. So let's call her up and.
All right. Okay. We're gonna call up Maria here, and Goofy Bone is going to show everybody the game here. So let's call her up. And if she asks what number this is, just say you're at work or something, right, man?
Yeah.
Because it's going to come up 646-652-4869.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. I already got the strategy.
All right, here we go. We're dialing it now. Everybody get ready. All right. Here's Goofy Bone in action. Oh, man.
Is she there? What if she gave me a fake number, Ghost?
Oh. She just hung up, man. It didn't even pick up, man. Damn. Well, that sucked. Oh well. At least we tried, man. We tried.
We tried.
Anyway, Goofy Boy, I want to thank you, man, for calling up, man. I wanted to move on to some other stuff, man. We tried.
Yeah,
we were trying to do some things.
I didn't mean to take up any of your time, Ghost, but
Nah, don't worry about it, man. We played Give Her a Bone and all that stuff, man. So it's all good.
Okay, Ghost. Have a good one. Just leave me on the line. I'm listening in, Ghost.
All right, no problem, man. You take it easy. All right, folks. We tried. I know that people were looking forward to hearing Goofy Bone throw his game, but unfortunately, we didn't have anybody pick up the phone. She needs to pick up the phone so he can give her a bone. Anyway, 646-652-4869. We got off keister there, and I'm sorry, folks. We were talking about how the Iranian government, the Ayatollah and Ahmadinejad have announced that they have an Iranian cyber army that they're going to unleash on the internet. And while we were talking about that, we had Goofy Bone call up, and we played his song, Goofy Bone, Give It to Her, which is on YouTube and a variety of different other websites, which was lovely, by the way. Now we're going to move on to something a little bit different. I want to talk a little bit about how Twitter has been ordered by the Justice Department to give user information to the government based on this WikiLeaks probe that the government is conducting in an attempt to try to, find certain key figures that were involved in this leak, which is pretty unbelievable, which is pretty sick. As far as I'm concerned, WikiLeaks is WikiLeaks. Why exactly do they need Twitter information? Why do they need Twitter user info? Are they planning on possibly, questioning or taking into custody individuals who happen to have retweeted WikiLeaks submissions? Or I think this is a really serious case, I think it's a really serious case that people need to start thinking about. I mean, today alone, so many threats to our internet freedoms have been infringed upon us that we need to start realizing that we can't just allow these idiots to, continue going on in this fashion. All right? I mean, why exactly does the government need Twitter user account info? I mean, isn't this the government? I mean, aren't they supposed to be able to track people and, use all these little, technologies to basically track IP addresses and packets of information? I mean, why exactly do they need user info via Twitter? And why do they need the Justice Department to order it? I mean, this is very precarious. This is very interesting, very serious, to say the least. Give me a break. You can tell our internet freedoms are limited. I mean, they're getting infringed upon every single goddamn day, folks. And this is why I'm still going to call, all these Iranian little, whatever they call cyber army. Iran today said that they have a cyber army that's going to inflict cyber damage on their enemies. I say, why doesn't every hacker in the world hack the bejesus out of Iran and just take them off the goddamn internet, all right? They think they're so badass. They think they're such hacksaws. They're threatening the internet community if we're not, bowing down to the Ayatollah or something. I mean, why can't every hacker just hack the bejesus out of Iranian infrastructure? And maybe then they won't be so tough to, be the first country brazen enough to say that they have a cyber army. I spit on your cyber army. I spit on your denial of service attacks based upon the Ayatollah. All right. I mean, what are they gonna make? What, the Ahmadinejad virus or something? Huh? The Ayatollah turban virus. I mean, give me a break. Stupid idiot Iranian government. It makes me sick, man. They do. They make me sick. They're slaughtering their people that are just protesting peacefully in the street. All right. All right. They're just protesting peacefully in the street, and lo and behold, what? Now they're threatening the internet, huh? They're threatening the citizens of the internet that say, well, we have to watch out. I think Iran's got another thing coming. Maybe they need to stick to, quashing their own domestic unrest before they start talking crap about the internet. Before they start talking crap about, we got the cyber army. I got the cyber army. I got cyber army. Give me a break. Anyway, folks, I mean, there's just so much stuff going on in our world today, man. So much stuff going on in our world today. We just got news here in the chat room by Felix and NJ saying that the Japanese Nuclear Safety Agency says another explosion, is heard at Unit 2 at the Fukushima plant. And folks, according to the experts and according to what I've read and what I've accumulated from these so-called experts, that we're not going to have a Chernobyl kind of nuclear situation that we had in Russia. According to these experts, that it's going to be something like 3 Mile Island. But I think that these people are talking this in somewhat of a, not necessarily knowing the whole facts perspective. Not to mention that, you've got a tsunami and an earthquake that hit this poor country, and now they're claiming that, it's not going to be that bad. Geez, I feel bad for these people in Japan, man. I mean, they're just taking so much, for Christ's sake. You know that? And now they're going to possibly have some kind of nuclear accident. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, 646-652-4869. Our thoughts and prayers are with the true capitalists out there in Japan. Seriously, my hearts and prayers are with you. All right. 646-652-4869. I want to talk to some people. I mean, what do you have to say? I mean, we were talking a little bit about the internet and about how Ahmadinejad Ahmadinejad and the Iranian government has announced that they have a cyber army they're going to unleash upon us all. You've got the government basically utilizing the Justice Department to order Twitter to give user information based on this WikiLeaks probe. It's just so many things coming out. And one thing I want to talk about is a little bit of this teacher union debacle. Now, yours truly has become somewhat of a controversial figure when it comes to these teachers' unions. And, not to keep reiterating or keep beating a dead horse, but yours truly was featured as the #1 story on Newsvine. And for you folks that don't know what Newsvine is, it's one of those kind of like dig sites, a little bit different, trying to, be news-based to a certain degree. But anyway, here is the post. I'm going to post it on the internet right here, on the chat room. There is the post where I have had almost 500 comments relating to an article where I criticized the teachers' unions and criticized the teachers themselves for going out here and acting a fool in Wisconsin, Idaho, Ohio, Illinois, California. This is just utterly ridiculous that we have to sit here and put up with the fact that we just have to accept public union workers acting a fool, acting a goddamn fool, for Christ's sake. Well, anyway, I've taken so much criticism, and you can look at that page, folks. They're practically calling me the Great Satan or some shit, when I'm just doing nothing but stating the obvious. I'm stating the obvious that private sector has already suffered through the economic contraction and recession of 2008 and 2009. But these milky lickers in the unions and the public sector didn't suffer because they got guaranteed tenured contracts. Yeah, they got annual increases on their salaries no matter what kind of a job they do, no matter if it's a good job or a bad job. It's in the contract that they get an annual increase. They get pensions with an increase of 8% a year until they croak. These types of perks for menial jobs, folks, for jobs with limited responsibilities, and limited occupational obligations. And these people are just going out and causing a civil unrest in whatever community they happen to be in because they can't accept the fact that they can't continue to pay for this crap. That the private sector, the people that are actually paying your salaries, the people that are actually paying taxes, can't afford to continue to pay your overinflated budgets. You teachers and you union public laborers that think that you're better, that think that you're more patriotic than every other American out here, it makes me sick. It makes me sick to my stomach. That the average private sector worker, or let's put it this way, the average public sector worker, the average person working for the government, whether it's federal, whether it's state, whether it's municipality, makes 42% on average more than those in the private sector. 42% more. And that's our tax dollars. That's our money, for Christ's sake. Those are the people that are out there in the private sector, out there busting their ass and making an honest living, that are supporting these pathetic union public assholes that are just unappreciative and don't care if they bankrupt states. They don't care if they leave debts for other generations to pay. They don't care. They are more patriotic in their eyes, and they feel that they are obligated to be paid this overinflated rate of pay for doing nothing more than paper pushing or overpaid babysitting. It's ridiculous. And, another thing, haven't you noticed that Barack Obama, our president, has not come out publicly or said anything about the union situation happening in Wisconsin, all right? You notice he's not saying anything about the public union uprising all over the country. He's not saying one thing, even though he credits them for getting him elected. even though the unions were the ones that organized and got him elected. Now, why is Barack Obama, our president, abandoning the support of the public unions? You want to know why? Because as much as he is a socialist, as much as he is, somebody who believes that the government should micromanage every single thing, he knows that he cannot come out publicly for these unions because he knows that these unions out here are making way more, 42% on average more than the private sector. And if he came out publicly supporting these unions, everybody in the capitalist sphere of consciousness would just completely leave the country. Do you understand? I mean, that would be a clear sign that our government is a socialist-based system, bottom line. And in my personal opinion, I say that the reason that the president's not coming out and the reason that he's not going to come out is because he can't. Because it's fiscally irresponsible. We cannot pay for these overinflated budgets anymore. We have to start cutting. And let me tell you, it's not just the teachers that have to be cut. It's not just the public unions and the public laborers that have to be cut. Let me tell you, everything has to be cut, folks. Everything. And people don't understand this. I mean, just look at the ruckus that these so-called educators are conducting themselves in. Taking over Capitol buildings and, sitting over here threatening lawmakers and state representatives. They're threatening these people because, it's not fair. You're taking away my perks. You're taking away my easy job. You're taking away my money for nothing. I mean, this is it right here. They're pissed off. They're just like these Greeks out here that were rioting in the streets because, I got to go back to work. I mean, give me a damn break. Anyway, I'm glad that Obama is just leaving these people out in the cold. They deserve it. They are just individuals that are useless people. Because, look, one argument is that, hey, Ghost, we pay taxes too. Public workers pay taxes too. Oh, yeah? How in the hell can you pay taxes when your salary is based on taxes? Can somebody explain this to me? Huh? Can somebody explain how one can pay taxes off of other people's taxes? I just don't get it. I mean, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, and you can make that. They can make that idea that I'm paying taxes, I'm paying this. You're paying taxes from our taxes. Our tax. Private sector taxation is funding your income. So technically, you're paying taxes with taxes. And how in the hell that gives you the carte blanche or the authority to sit here and exploit the taxpayer? Because that's exactly what they're doing. They're exploiting and extorting the taxpayer. Like I said in the beginning of the program, the mafia used to do this. The mafia used to go into neighborhoods that they controlled, and they would go into legitimate businesses, and they'd go to every criminal that's in their neighborhood and make sure that they paid a percentage or a cut of whatever they brought into that neighborhood because of protection. Huh? Yeah, protection from what? Protection from them. And this is exactly what the teachers and the public unions are doing to us, the taxpayer. They are extorting money from us. And did you know that you can go to prison if you're a mafioso that's extorting money from neighborhoods or from people? This is what this is, threatening the unrest of certain civility so that one can get paid. I mean, that's what extortion is, going up to somebody and saying, hey, you're either going to pay me or life's going to get rough. Life's going to get rough for you if you don't pay me. That's what these teachers are doing out here. It's disgusting, man. And they actually think that this is patriotic. They actually think that they're better Americans than average people because they think that they're conducting themselves in the American way. I kid you not. They think that by extorting money out of the taxpayer that they are somehow more patriotic than the actual taxpayer. They think because, they were smart enough, and you can look in the comments in that one article, there's a lot of people that say, the private sector isn't smart enough to join a union. They're not smart enough, so, hey, it's not my fault that I've got such a great paying job. Yeah, it's not my fault. I was smart enough to join a union. It's a disgrace, man, and this is America. This is what we're having to accept. This is what's teaching our children. Can you believe that? These assholes are teaching our children this type of value system, that you're just supposed to just take money and it doesn't matter what, where it comes from, who gives it to you or what. It's sick, man. It's utterly sick. And let me tell you, I wrote a rebuttal blog to the blog that was posted on Newsvine. And you can go there, ghostpolitics.blogspot.com. All right? That's the name, ghostpolitics.blogspot.com. Anyway, I'm going to take some callers here. 646-652-4869 is the number to call. Area code 270, you're on the air.
All right, well, first off, public union jobs are not anywhere as luxurious as you think they are. Teachers are not getting paid a lot. So they should have a right to be angry because they're cutting off things that they already don't get much of. Yes, they do have benefits. The teachers in my state make around $35,000 a year, $40,000 a year, because the cuts are so low.
What state is that? What state is that?
Kentucky.
All right.
The cuts
well,
are
isn't this right up your alley, though? I mean, isn't this right up your alley? I mean, doesn't Rand Paul want to just cut everything from over there? I mean, this is the way it should be. I mean, look, Kentucky, let's be honest. Let's be honest about Kentucky. Kentucky gives $1 for every $2 it takes from the government. So, I don't understand. How exactly is Kentucky supposed to up its teachers' pay from $35,000 when Kentucky can't even support itself as a state?
I'm not saying that it should up the pay. I'm just saying that less important things should be cut than education. That should be a prime factor because that's like.
But our education has failed us, sir. Sir, our education system has failed us. Obama today came out and said that we are 9th in the world in education. 9th. And in a global market, that's ridiculous. Now, I know you're saying, and I know what you're trying to do, son. You're trying to give compassion to these teachers. But look, they have robbed you of a proper education. You know what they've done to you? They've turned you into a political correct, pussified version of yourself. And now, instead of actually looking at the facts and realizing that these teachers have lifetime tenures, that means that they can never be fired, and the only way they can be fired is if they're in a janitor's closet with a 10-year-old boy or something, and that's about it. They don't get fired if they curse in classrooms. They don't get fired if they say racial diatribes. I mean, they don't get fired for these things because of these unions. I mean, you think that's appropriate?
It's not. Well, I'm sure the racial slur thing, they probably would get suspended or.
With pay. They get suspended with pay, and then they get moved to another bureaucratic wing of the school district to, hide them away so that they can just make the public media circus go away. Believe me, I know this system, son. I know exactly what's happening here. It costs in Texas alone almost $30,000 a kid to send these kids to school. And are children learning anything? No, they're not learning anything. We are 9th. Our own president. Our own leftist president has said we are 9th in education. And why are we 9th in education when we blow billions of dollars on education? Why? It's because the teachers, they suck. And the reason they suck is because they have no incentive to be good teachers. Our unions make it to where these teachers, once they get a contract, remember, these are contracted teachers. Once they get a contract, they are already guaranteed an annual increase every single year, no matter what. No matter if they're a bad teacher or a good teacher, no matter if they're the best teacher or the worst teacher, they get the same increase, everybody across the board, same increase every year. So there is no incentive to be a good teacher. There's no incentive to be a spectacular teacher. There's only an incentive to just do your job and to do it with the least amount of effort as possible. Secondly, these teachers have weekends and 3 months out of the year off that they get paid for. All right? They get paid for that 3 months off of the year. All right? And you know what they do when they take the 3 months off? They go out and work somewhere else to make even more money. Yeah. They work summer school. I met one teacher out here that said she works at Subway for the 3 months, and believe it or not, these supplemented incomes make them live even larger. So, and once again, let's continue on. The pensions, when a teacher, when they get these annual increases every single year, at some point when they're about 30 years in, these people are literally making close to $100,000 a year because of their annual increases. They get depending on the state, some of them get $2,000 a year increase, some of them get $1,500, some of them get more, some of them get less. But by the time they're in a 30-year career, they're getting paid $80,000, $90,000 a year, and then when they retire, they get that $80,000, $90,000 a year every single year for the rest of their life until they croak. And not to mention that they get an 8% increase every single year that they're alive. Now, I'm going to ask you one more time. Well, how are teachers suffering, and how are the educators suffering again?
I hate to admit it, but you stumped me.
No, well, I'm just saying, son, look, I know that, these teachers, that's what they're there for. They're there to extort the emotion out of you. This is a corrupt system. The public education system is a corrupt system. These people are disgusting heathens that have sucked the emotion out of communities for too long. And I'm glad that you at least admit that you don't know, because this is a learning process, man. I mean, you cannot take what people say as gospel, especially even a teacher, because a teacher has a motive. Because look, just because one teacher, impacts your life, you're just one student in probably 10 or 25,000 students that teacher is going to be in contact with for the rest of their life, for the rest of their career. So, I mean, they have no incentive to make sure that these kids progress because, they're public educators and, there's no financial incentive and, anybody in the public can go there. So what I'm saying is, son, is that what we need to do is realize that it's not these governments wanting to take away from education, all right? Nobody wants to take away from education because education is what creates economic productivity. It creates thinkers that innovate. It creates creativity. It creates all these things. What's not creating it is this current system that we have that is based upon seniority system. And that's what you call this. The longer you work there, the more seniority you have, the more clout, the more money, as opposed to a merit-based system, which means if you're the best teacher out there, you should be getting paid as the best teacher out there. If you're the best administrator out there and you don't have any gangs at your school, you don't have any of these goddamn bullies or any of this crap, then you should be paid better than the other administrators that have to deal with this crap. I mean, I think that we should be paying these people based on merit. And you see, son, that's what they're bitching against in Wisconsin. That's what they're bitching against. They don't want to be based on merit because they are not smart. Teachers are no longer smart. You know what they are? They're idiots that failed at their 4-year degrees. They got an emergency certification. This is the majority of teachers, believe it or not. They get an emergency certification, and then they're out here making anywhere from $35,000 to $65,000 a year to start, depending on your state. Now, I know Kentucky, it's pretty low, but that's based upon the lack of economic productivity in Kentucky. And as a matter of fact, if I were you, I'd be a little concerned about Rand Paul wanting to do all this cuts, considering that Kentucky has no economic backbone. There's no industry out there to suffice the jobs that are going to be taking place because he cuts those jobs in federal funding. You see, you need to start realizing where all the money's going, man. It's all going to these damn bureaucrats that shouldn't even have the money to begin with. And you know where the money should be going? It should be going to you, because you're the one that's making the money, that's paying taxes to fund these people. And they shouldn't be sitting here waving their fingers at us when we're the ones paying these assholes. And that's why I'm saying, man, I know that it seems as if, these people hate education, they hate teachers, they hate this, they hate that. No, it's the fact that we as American taxpayers want a merit-based system. And you see, this is why these teachers are so afraid. Because if they have to be paid based upon their merits, I guarantee you more than 80% of the teaching force is going to be out of a job. And I guarantee it. I put my life on it. And this is what we're against, man. It's not about cutting education. I think there should be smart boards in every classroom, man. I think that there should be fiber optic networks that connect classes from all over the world. I mean, I think there should be innovative teaching methods, but you're never going to get those innovative teaching methods, son, because these dumbass teachers don't have an incentive to go learn this crap. I mean, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in class and a teacher doesn't know how to work the computer?
All the time.
So why exactly are they teaching you when you're teaching them? I mean, you're teaching them. I bet you, some kid has to get up and say, oh, look, miss, this is what we have to do. This is this and that. I mean, why exactly do you have to show them how to work a computer when they're supposed to be the educators? You want to know why they don't know a computer? Because they're not living in the same reality as everybody else. They're living with the same mentality that they graduated with and they started work with whenever it was they began as a teacher. And then they completely turned off their mental capacity. I kid you not. This is why all these teachers don't know shit from Shinola when it comes to computers, because there's no financial incentive for them to do so. And if there's no financial incentive, or if they're not going to get paid to take technology courses, or if the state isn't going to pay for it for them, they're not going to do it. So this is what everybody's against, man. We're not against education. I mean, we're not against teaching children. We're against these bureaucrats exploiting children like you for the sake of them having lifetime contracts, which is an unheard of situation. Let me tell you something, son. I know you sound very young. When you get into the workforce, when you're 18 years old, you're not going to have any kind of job security whatsoever. You'll never find a lifetime contract in the private sector, ever. And yet, what makes these people who are not as smart as you, because you just admitted that these teachers don't even know goddamn technology, what makes these losers better than you when not only did you have to go through their schools, their institutions, and take their crap, you're the one that knows more than them, and yet when you go out into the workforce, there's no economic opportunity, and whatever job you do find, you have to pay taxes to continue to support these losers. I mean, does it make any sense?
No.
So that's what I'm saying, son. I mean, look, I'm glad you called, and I know that it's disheartening and it sucks, but that's just the facts. And that's what I talk about out here is the facts, man. And I thank you for calling. You sound a little upset, and I don't want you to get upset, son. I mean, it's just the fact of the matter. All right, these teachers are using you. All right, your parents are using you. You are not going to have none of the opportunities that your parents have or these teachers have. Why do you think I continue to come up on here to tell you youth this? I come up on here every day so that I can make sure to implant it in your brain, to make sure that you realize that you have no opportunities out here, man. And whatever you do get, all these little pissant little jobs that are left over by the service industry-oriented economy that we have, you still got to pay taxes to all these moocher-ass pieces of crap that don't have anything to do with you and your success. On the contrary, they were the ones that put you in the situation you're in. All right? And I don't think it's fair that young people aren't going to have lifetime contracts. I don't think it's fair that young people aren't going to be able to be employed for 30 years with the same company. I don't think it's fair that, young people aren't going to have Social Security even though they're going to have to pay for it. Haven't you noticed, if you're a young kid, haven't you noticed working at damn Mickey D's or, one of these fast food joints, you still get taxed. You still got that damn Social Security. You still got that damn Medicaid, Medicare pulled out of your check. And why are they pulling it out of your check? You're never going to use that crap. You want to know why you're never going to use it? Because it's not going to be around. It's not going to be around when you're older, for Christ's sake, man. Don't be fooled by these losers, man. Don't be fooled by this goddamn public education system, and don't be fooled by your parents, man. You got to start thinking for yourself. You got to start being a true capitalist. You got to pick yourself up and realize that, hey, wait a minute, I got to start thinking. I got to start reading. I got to start learning, because if I don't start learning, I'm going to be left out in the cold. I'm going to be bamboozled by people that I think that care about me when, in actuality, they want to exploit me. They want to exploit me, and that's exactly what what happened to that young child, that young kid that just called up at 270 from Kentucky. I want to thank him for calling up. He just realized that he's been lied to his whole young life. He's been lied to his whole young life, and he can't believe it. He can't believe it because you know what? The true spirit behind his call was good. You know, it was a good intention that he wanted to make a comment about education. It was a good intention that he wanted education to be the focal point. But what's so misunderstanding is people don't understand what's going on. And all they want to do is focus on the fact that people hate teachers. Oh, look, he's making fun of teachers. It's not fair. It's not fair that he's making fun of teachers. Shut up. Let me tell you something. Teachers are getting paid. Administrators are getting paid. Everybody in the public education system is getting paid. All right. And I do not care about these stupid unions that are sitting over here trying to act more patriotic than us in the private sector. It makes me sick, man. I take personal offense. I take personal offense to these scumbag public sector unions out here trying to act better than the private sector, trying to act as if they are entitled with such arrogance to such exuberant pay, exuberant perks, because why? Because of nothing, because they exist. They're no different than, these dumbass bimbos who shit out 8 kids from 8 different fathers and collect $5,000 a month from welfare and housing voucher and all the other programs in our system. They're no different than that, man. And the only thing that the governments are trying to do is they're trying to fix their books. They're in tremendous deficits. And once again, how do states get into debts? I know people, I explain this time and time again, but it needs to be repeated because I think people think that just money is just, printed out of thin air. That's not how it works, morons. All right? You don't just print up money out of thin air. When the state wants money, when the city wants money, they have to go and sell bonds. That's why you have a bond market. I'm not a bond investor because, let's just face it. I mean, I kind of anticipated that, we were going to have some problem like this because, just look at how your government spends your money. I mean, it'll give you an easy enough synopsis there. But they have to sell bonds so that they can actually get this money from individual investors. And anybody can invest in those bonds. You, your 401k manager, your mutual fund manager, anybody. And what these people do is they purchase these bonds and they cannot cash them out for a specific given portion of time. Sometimes 5, 10, 30 years, these types of intervals. And when they buy these bonds, the only way that they can fully mature, which means they can actually, have the face value that's on the bond, is if they hold on to them for the amount of time that it says on the bond. The problem is that when you cash in your bond, you always have the assumption that the government's going to be there to pay you your money. Well, what if you're one of these bondholders in a municipality or in a state? Because bond is a safe investment, folks. I mean, everybody claims that the bond is the safest investment ever, and I couldn't have disagreed with them more. They say, oh, the government's not going anywhere. Municipal bonds, government bonds are great. And there's a lot of reasons behind that. There's a bunch of tax benefits, very low, if not any tax rates when, cashing matured bonds. Because you invested in the government. So, that's why you have it's a big tax shelter. But what if you invested so much in a bond and, some state, some city, some country, and that state, country, city cannot pay its debts any longer. It can't pay for its debts. What happens? That means everybody who bought a bond from this city, from this state, from this country, are going to lose everything they invested. They're going to lose everything they invested. So when if a state or a city or a country just goes belly up and defaults on their loans, Well, that means everybody who invested in that country just lost their cash, or invested in that city, or invested in that state just lost their cash. And this doesn't just include regular investors. This includes individuals who depend on 401ks. This includes individuals who depend on retirements, mutual funds. These people get majorly affected because bonds are financial instruments that are used by these types of, these types of 401ks, mutual funds, by these managers of money, for Christ's sake. So, like I said before, this is why states are trying to restructure their books. They're trying to restructure their organization. And they're trying to cut all these overinflated budgets that are draining their states and their cities. And one of which is these goddamn teachers, man. I mean, I know that everybody wants to think that teachers are so sacred and, they can do nothing wrong, but just why don't you take a look at Teacher Sleeps with Children and take a look at how many articles you'll come up with that one. How many teachers are out there fondling their damn children, for Christ's sake? And yet these are supposed to be the union laborers out here. Why don't you take a look at Teacher Protected by Union? And take a look at how many stories where people were alleged to fondle children or alleged to, say certain things. They weren't fired because the union rep protected them. Let's talk about these subject matters. This is what I'm against. This is what everybody in the private sector is against. Because if anybody in the private sector did half the crap that these damn public union idiots did, we would be fired and we would never have a job. All right? But these idiots, they think that they're better. They think that they're more patriotic and they deserve more money because, we're teachers and, we're taxpayer, whatever stupid excuse they try to give you. It's sick, man. Anyway, for that young man in Kentucky, man, I want to thank you for calling up and just take what I said and realize that, look, being a leftist means that you've got to sell your soul and accept a lot of contradictory crap. You know that? Why do you think every leftist out here, I mean, and I'm talking about really hardcore leftists like, I recently saw Paul Begala on Bill Maher this past Friday. And, Paul Begala is supposed to be a guy that, helped Bill Clinton write his speeches. Supposed to be a credible, Democratic strategist, somebody with some substance. Man, even this idiot knows that it's a bunch of crap. I mean, you can tell he's no longer become somebody of any kind of liberal substance. He has now become more of a propagandist and an alarmist, and a crier, as opposed to an actual strategist and somebody with any kind of insight. But you see, you want to know why they get to that phase? Because they realize, hey, I helped elect Barack Obama, and I was one of the strategists that said Barack Obama was going to be pro-union. I was the one that said Barack Obama was going to take out the troops in Afghanistan and Iraq. I was the one that said, Barack Obama was going to make this great utopia, and it was going to be great. But what happened? The complete opposite happened, but Begala can't go back and say, well, he can't say that. He can just deviate the conversation into some other agitated conversational direction, as opposed to, approaching the true facts like, hey, what happened to your boy? What happened to your president over here? He was supposed to do all these things. He's done nothing. He's been Ronald Reagan. He's been the poor man Ronald Reagan. That's what he has been. He's the poor man's Ronald Reagan. Bailing out corporate industry, bailing out Wall Street. He's going to give corporate taxes, which I can't wait till the corporate tax code is reformed so I can even write even more off on my taxes. But he's going to do this. He is completely opposite from what these stupid leftists had claimed he was going to be, and yet they still defend the whole idea. They still defend the liberal cause. They still defend the Democratic Party, because that's one thing you have to learn to deal with as a leftist is contradiction. And you got to learn how to put that in a box, put it away, and pretend it doesn't exist, even though people are throwing it in your face. You see, conservatives, we didn't have that problem back in the day. But now that these leftists have infiltrated the conservative movement with bitches like, Sarah Palin and that other bimbo from Delaware who thought she was a witch or something. I mean, when you've got these bimbos that are starting to become, the so-called mouthpieces of conservatism, then we start seeing contradiction. And contradiction is the root of all destruction of any kind of bureaucratic system or regular corporate system or regular private system. So anyway, folks, 646-652-4869. I'm going to take some quick callers here. Piston Point, are you there? Piston Pilot?
Let me ask you a question. Have you been listening to any of the conservative talk show hosts? Because they all have the same talking points, it seems, and it's to downplay everything going on in Japan. Nuclear power is safe, and nothing going on in Japan we have to worry about. And if you're worried about it, you're a fool. Don't go out and get any iodine. Don't protect yourself. Just sit around and believe everything the government tells you.
Well, Piston, obviously you just got in on the conversation. I mean, I talked about that in the first hour, that people need to, maybe consider playing it safe, getting heater meals, getting bottled water, that sort of thing. I highlighted the fact that Japan is on a potential nuclear meltdown, and it's unfortunate, and our thoughts and our prayers are with the true capitalists out there. All right. So and you can look back in the archive 10 minutes from now if you don't believe me. So what's your point now? You're cutting in and out, Piston. You're cutting in and out, man. Sorry. But I agree with you, man. I mean, look, I'm not talking conservative talking points. I am not a conservative. I am a capitalist. Do you understand? I'm a capitalist, and I will always be a capitalist. All right? I mean, look, I understand there may be some nuclear disaster happening in Japan. I understand that there might be some nuclear fallout or radioactive fallout that could hit the West Coast. I'm not naive of this, okay? But what am I supposed? What do you want me to, sit here and be some hyper sensationalist? Huh? I mean, give me a break. Everybody's got free will here. Okay, I don't understand what you want conservatives or anybody else to talk about. We've been talking about Japan. It's an unfortunate situation. We're sending aid. People are donating money. People are out there, trying to go through the debris and getting bodies by the thousands. People are trying to, Anyway, let me take another call here. 646-652-4869. Goku's in the house. What's going on, Goku?
Hey, what's up, Ghost? Nothing much. Just chilling back.
Hey, it's spring break time, man. How do you what do you think about it, man? You partying? You ordering some pizzas? You gaming? You going out to any water parks or anything?
Oh, not spring break for me. My spring break is in 2 weeks.
Oh man. Oh well, that sucks, man. It's spring break over here in Texas, man.
Yeah, it does suck, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and not only that, isn't it snowing and stuff over there? Or you got some kind of weird atmospheric activity over there or something?
It's still a little cold, but, I mean, it snowed pretty hard on Friday, but, I mean, the sun's out, it's melting that, so snow's going away now.
What do you think about some of the things that were discussed in the program, man?
Very interesting. I just want to say, to give all your prayers to the people who died in Japan and all that, and to keep them in your mind when you go after your day.
Absolutely, man. I mean, you've got to. I mean, that's what I can't stand about people in America. People in America think that their lives are so significant and so important and so precious. What they need to realize is that at any point, not just an earthquake or a tsunami, anything can happen. Anything. You could eat the wrong food and die of food poisoning. You could walk across the street and get hit by a car. You could do all these things. I mean, there's just so many things that can happen to you. And yet these American people in this country think that, I just have a bad life. It's just not right, and I need to. I mean, it's just sick, man. We have so many opportunities out here, and, we have so many things we can take advantage of and we should be appreciative of, and yet we still can't get any kind of wisdom after watching this horrific tragedy that happened in Japan. You know?
Yeah.
You can't even get any kind of virtue from it whatsoever. Like, appreciate the fact that you're alive. I mean, good God. Anyway, sorry, man.
I know, Ghost. I see it every day at my school. These kids walk around like they own the place or they're the best. They're the best in the world when they're not. I mean, they're ungrateful bastards. They don't appreciate what they have. They just want more and more and more and more. They're never okay with.
And they don't care how they get it. They don't care how they get it. If the government gives it to them, if somebody else gives it to them. I mean, they just want it. And they want it all. And not to mention, they want it all for nothing.
Yeah, they're not okay with what they have. They just want more.
No kidding, man.
Yep.
All right, I got 5 minutes left, Goku. I'm about to, close out here. You want to plug your blog one more time?
Yeah, sure. It's goku93.blogspot.com.
All right, Goku, man. Thanks for listening. I'm going to be here all week, man. I'm doing the whole spring break thing, even though you're not on spring break. So
yeah,
I'll see you here tomorrow or whenever you can, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll be here all week. I'm always listening.
All right,
to your show,
Goku.
Ghost.
I appreciate you listening in all the time, man. You're always a good listener, always a good caller, bro.
Yep, no problem. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, man. Take it easy, man. All right, that was Goku. Everybody, we got 5 minutes left. What I do want to talk about on this last 5 minutes is to all the true capitalists out there. I would like for you to please utilize this time that you have spared in your life to spread the message about the true capitalists out here. Now, did you hear that young man that called from Kentucky and tried to defend these teachers with such wholeheartedly passion and genuine approach? And then when, the facts were approached to him, he, the poor child didn't know what to say. This is what I'm talking about, folks. We need these types of messages spread throughout the world. We got to make sure that capitalists worldwide, true capitalists, know that we are in effect and we are in the house and we are here to stay. We have to know our position in this society. And our position in this society is that of an important one. We're the ones who invest in everything. We're the ones that buy the bonds. We're the ones that buy the stocks. We're the ones that buy the businesses. We're the ones that invest in research and development. We're the ones that do this crap. And not to mention, folks, that we are the ones that pay the taxes. That's right. We pay the taxes, and yet you've got these public unions that are getting paid with our tax dollars sitting here trying to wave their finger, dictating terms to us. They're trying to dictate terms to us, for Christ's sake. I say hell no. I'm not letting these assholes dictate terms to us. And this is why all true capitalists out there need to spread the message. They need to put it on pamphlets. They need to put it on flyers. They need to put it on the internet. They need to put it on graphics. They need to put it on every single piece of medium. All right? Every single piece of medium out there. All right, well, what number are you at, Jack? We need to spread it around every single medium. The true capitalist movement, the true capitalist idealism, the promotion of capitalism. That's what we need to do. All right? What number? There's no numbers on here with their hands raised, Jack, except for Goku. I'm not scared of anything, Jack, you stupid milky liquor. So what's going on? Come on, we got 3 minutes left, boy. We got 3 minutes left, boy. Oh, well, it's Pineapple Meister. Oh, no wonder. You're the asshole that plays all those stupid, dumbass songs. Get the hell... As a matter of fact, if that's you, get the hell out of here, and I'm going to kick your ass out of my chat room while I'm at it, too, there, you stupid milky lick. Get this here. Get him out of here! Get him out! Get him out! You're the asshole that, calls me up and plays that stupid Weekend at Bernie's crap. Stupid piece of trash. Anyway, folks, we got 2 minutes left. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me once again, I want to remind everybody that this March 18th, all right, this March 18th, Mike Vallely comes to True Capitalist Radio to be interviewed. I'm so excited about it. It's almost, surreal, I'm talking about the badasses of badasses, man. You know what I'm saying? And I can't wait to interview him. He's going to let us in on his projects, his latest potential movies, his new projects, or any potential new projects coming up in the future. He's going to let us in about his life, the whole 9 yards. I'm looking forward to it. So spread it around. Mike Vallely, live March 18th, this Friday. Spread it around like wildfire, folks. And not to mention, let everybody know about the True Capitalist Radio broadcast in general, all right? Because this show is pure word of mouth, all right? And I depend on you to spread it around like wildfire. So blogtalkradio.com/ghost. That's the link to send them, all right? blogtalkradio.com/ghost. All right, and just spread it around. Go to your damn blogs. Go to your social networking sites. Go to your Twitters and let everybody know that we're in effect and we're in the house every Monday through Friday, 4 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, 4 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are here. We are live, and not to mention we've got every archive broadcast I've ever done. Thousands upon thousands of minutes on the website, blogtalkradio.com/ghost. So there should be no reason why you can't be going there and downloading, one of the old episodes. Not to mention, folks, I updated the video. On blogtalkradio.com/ghost. It's the Rubber Johnny movie, all right? It's the new Rubber Johnny movie. I, advise people to check that out before you leave my website. Anyway, I'm out of here. Long live capitalism. I'll be here, same place, same time, 4 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow, Monday through Friday, and every other day here on the True Capitalist Radio Show. I'm out of here.
You've been listening to True Capitalist Radio. The thoughts, views, ideas, comments, and opinions of the host of this show are absolutely his. Catch more live episodes Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30 Central. Or check out archive shows at blogtalkradio.com. True Capitalist Radio.
That's it.
Oye, is that the new Samsung Galaxy S7? Yeah, I got it for $0 down on AT&T Next. Plus, it takes amazing pictures. Oops. Don't worry, it's a water-resistant Samsung Galaxy S7.
You can get the new Samsung Galaxy S7 for $0 down on AT&T Next, too. AT&T, mobilizing your world. Requires well-qualified credit, installment agreement, and service. Balance due if service canceled. Taxes, activation, or upgrade, and other fees, charges, and restrictions apply. Water-resistant up to 5 feet for up to 30 minutes. Rinse residue, wipe dry. Visit att.com/next for details.